This is We Kill Monsters, the weekly Dungeons and Dragons game that me and my friends broadcast to the interwebs in the hopes that maybe someday I don't have to have a real job. We are playing Rime of the Frostmaiden, Icewind Dale, the latest adventure from Wizards of the Coast that is set in an icy world that hasn't seen the sun or summer in 2 years. And our adventurers, Tier 4, have been figuring out what's going on and have come across some evil dwarves that are plotting to destroy all the towns. And
Hey, Dwergar.
Duergar. And they've managed to foil their plot. A big thank you to Cernscape, who, if you should be able to hear the sound of the snow and the wind. It's a really cool company. Cernscape.com allows you to sort of synchronize sound across multiple players remotely. So you can have kind of like ambience, even though COVID is making us all play via the internet. And the music that I'll play throughout today is from a composer called Travis Savoye, who has kindly said that we could use it, no kind of royalties on the stream. So thank you, Travis. So, Tier 4. By the way, that's the name of the adventuring group, Tier 4. Last we left you guys, you'd come back to East Haven after defeating the Shardolin Dragon. And you'd found it almost completely destroyed. You found the town speaker, the leader, had been killed, as well as his captain of the guards, who you'd come quite close to. Aside from about 10% of the eastern portion of the town, the only things that survived were the town hall and the ferry building that sort of operates the ferry that normally would go between East Haven and the other towns on the lake. Upon discovering a prisoner in the dungeon, you'd released her, a very large, half-orc, sailor-looking lady. And you'd rung the town bell, which had led to several dozens of people coming to see what had happened. And that's where we last left you guys.
Did we get the cauldron up yet? No, because you were just coming out.
Yeah.
Because it was. So it was me and Akeem standing out. Oreo and Akeem standing out front, and Caliban and Durbic were
In the dungeon.
in the dungeon bringing up the cauldron.
Yep. So, can we find the cauldron, Dre? Is it where it was supposed to be?
Yes, so if you go into the room that you'd last left it when it was under guard, the way you'd sort of thwarted the plan to steal it, you see that it's still there. The door is open. There seems to be a few things scattered on the floor. The table's upended, but the cauldron is still there.
And the cell where the Dwergar prince was is empty, right?
Yes.
Right.
Are you bringing out the cauldron?
I don't know. Do we need to bring it out now? We just need to make sure that we know where it is and that it's safe.
No, I think.
Well, the first person we came across said, "Can I have some food?" So I would wager.
Okay.
Well,
Yes,
so
bring it out
it's
and clean it
Caliban
up.
and Durbic downstairs in the dungeon next to the cauldron with the orc lady, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess we'll bring it up then. Yeah, Caliban, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
These people need something reassuring.
Good.
As your half-orc lady says, I'll help drag it up, but how reassuring is an old cauldron?
Just wait, you'll see.
What he said.
By the
All
way,
right.
I don't think we got your name. I'm Durbic Blackhammer.
She looks you over, gives you a proper sort of once over with her eyes, and then extends her hand out. Says, Atka of Skag.
Caliban Talagor.
And she shakes sort of your hand as well, grasping very firmly sort of at the forearm, sort of like this.
Mm. Let's get this up topside then.
She whips around the back of the cauldron and lifts up, leaving you guys to lift one side, the both of you, and she grabs the other side and lifts up.
That's just excessive.
But you drag it over the stairwell. It's just about wide enough to kind of pull it through. It's like moving a couch, pivot. You've seen that
Yeah.
that episode of Friends. So it takes you like 5 minutes to get it up to the top of the stairs. But do you leave it sort of in the main chamber, or what are you doing with it?
Yeah, take it to the main chamber. I will look for some water.
Okay. Whilst you do that, I'll go back to Akeem and Oreo, who are outside, with people sort of coming up to them. And, they're starting to try and talk, but there's so many voices, like they're all asking questions. What's happened? Where's the town speaker? Are we going to be okay? Is there any food? And there's just sort of like, but it's like starting dozens of voices all piping up at the same time.
We are here to try and help you, but we need to speak to someone. Who amongst you here is your leader?
And they sort of point to the town hall. Speaker Dennis. He's our leader.
I whisper to Akeem, Akeem, listen, just 1 second, Akeem. I think it's an opportunity for us to unite the 10 towns and for us to take over as town speaker of both East Haven and Goodmead. I think that is what we have been destined to do, Akeem.
I think that's a good idea. Lead the way.
Well, I'm not as charming as you are, but I shall do my best. But back me up, please.
I'm here. I've got your back.
Okay. And he goes, Oreo goes, good people of East Haven. My name is Oreo Nostro, and though I am a new member of this esteemed 10 Towns community, I have done my best to fit in and help out. My friends and I, Akeem of Zamunda, and who are and Caliban and Durbek, who are currently in the town hall. We are the ones who killed the dragon. Unfortunately, we are too late to save East Haven, though we did try and stop the dragon here. We unfortunately were too late, but we did manage to stop the dragon from decimating the rest of 10 Towns and getting to Bryn Shander and killing the rest of our community here in East Haven. We are currently just trying to resolve the food issue, which I know is a pertinent one. But hopefully we can help you do things. Now, I give you some grave news. The town speaker is dead, along with the captain of the guard. May I humbly suggest that we offer ourselves as your protectors and your guide in the temporary time being, so we may feed you and organize helping East Haven back onto its stumbling feet to begin with.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Should I roll with him or just...
Actually, both roll together. Yeah, each roll, and we'll see what the result is.
With advantage, you say?
Persuasion, dirty 20.
Woohoo! 26.
Woohoo! Okay, very good.
We convinced them.
They believe your story. They believe you killed the dragon. In fact, one old lady goes, "That's tier 4, that is."
Indeed, young lady, indeed.
And there's kind of all sorts of little side conversations, and then kind of more questions and stuff. But one old person pipes up and says, "What about Torga? Whoa, we've already sworn that we'd obey Torga."
Who is Torga?
Roll a history check.
Both of us? Yeah, I would like to.
19 plus 25 for my history.
7.
Or you remember talking to Scython that there was a local merchant that sort of moves from town to town in 10 towns, who was also a bit of a sort of a local mafia boss. person in the sense that she makes people pay for protection money to not get damaged by her.
Torga.
Torga. Torga.
Okay. This Torga, is she here now? Is she helping you now? Is she going to feed you?
Well, she has got the only food left.
I would beg to differ that. And I'm hoping and praying that Durbeck and Caliban are coming out with a cauldron any minute.
As he's doing this, I'm looking to them to be like.
And has Torga saved you from the dragon?
No, but just worried about the consequences. That's all.
Well, this Torga, I think if we can defeat a dragon, we may be able to defend you from the wrath of this Torga.
Roll another persuasion check. This time with no advantage.
Come on, dice. Ooh. 13.
Okay. Some of the crowd seems
16
to be
from Hakim.
Okay. Some of the crowd seems to sort of trust that you'll take care of them. Other people are like, they want to, but they seem a little bit, they're looking around and sort of keeping an eye.
So who amongst you is strong of back? And is there any construction people here? Blacksmiths?
And upon this, you look around, roll a perception check.
I'm sorry, I need to interject here for a moment. DM, I can't find the thing.
Okay, never mind, because explaining it would take me 5 minutes of guiding you through menus.
Okay, fine.
25.
18.
As you look around, Akeem and Oreo, you see that this crowd of people, it's hard to count them because it's kind of like it's all kind of jumbled up and they're all moving and trying to get a better view. But there's at least 60, 70 maybe people, and they seem to be almost entirely either old children with no parents or very sick people. Everybody else seems to have left.
Where are all the young people and the rest of the townsfolk?
Well, pardon me saying, my name is...
I had a name ready, but I've lost my notes. 1 second. How do I always screw up the names?
That is a very long name.
Oh, it was something simple.
So how do I always screw up the names? It's very nice to meet you.
Oh no, there we go, because I couldn't find the right page. Nope. I'm gonna go with this one.
Dorn. Dorn's the name. I used to be one of the town guards once upon a time here. You'll find that those that could make the trek have gone to Bryn Shander for safety. There's no food and no shelter aside from the very east of town, and that is not accessible to us. And we were too sick to make the journey, and some of us were hiding and didn't make it in time to join the caravan.
I'm quite disheartened by this cold-heartedness of the people that left you behind, Dawn. But
me too, but I do understand. We would have slowed them down and perhaps put everyone in danger.
But the danger was only to the towns, not to the journey.
Oh, no. In the time between the dragon attack and you coming back, we've been harassed by bandits and by also strange-looking gray dwarves that grow to the size of an ogre. That's why we're hiding. We thought that perhaps the townspeople had come back with guard when you rang the bell.
Can
worry,
you tell us more about these bandits? Sorry, Oreo, but who are these? What do they look like? Where do they come from?
They cover their faces, but I recognize at least one of them. I'm afraid they're our own citizens, the less savory ones that have resorted to the baser instincts, if you will.
Well, we are here, and we shall defend you.
That
Indeed.
is appreciated. We are struggling as there's nothing left to keep us warm. We are burning our own houses to keep warm at the moment. And there's very little food, and we have to go and pay whatever we can to Torga to get supplies at the moment.
Is Torga here in East Haven?
She has barricaded herself in the part of town that has not been destroyed.
Very well.
Just east of Dragon Lane is her new territory.
I think perhaps we might have a conversation with this Torga. What do you think, Hakim?
I think that is very needed. Let us see what we can do.
Right. So, and Oreo gets his notebook out and sort of goes and starts jotting things down and going. Okay, so let us find some. We need to find the most secure building and the most stable building, and use that as the initial base of operations. And basically, he starts planning out how to sort of build the town back up piece by piece, find the best house to start with, repair that, use the able-bodied people. So he starts structuring out his plan.
Okay, very well. Roll an intelligence check for me.
That is good, because Oreo is quite a smart cookie.
Well, while he's doing this, I'm trying to figure out a way to keep the people warm because, like, is there any wood or anything that I can just set alight?
There's a lot of debris and broken things. A lot of it has actually burnt because, when the houses were collapsing, their internal hearth or fire or fireplace caught fire. So there's a lot of stuff that's already burnt. But you can scavenge amongst the houses and outside of them for, old barrels, bits of doors and things, for fuel.
Yes, I'd like to do that just because he said they've been burning their houses in order to stay warm. So that's one of the things Akeem will start doing.
Okay. Roll an investigation check as you sort of go around looking for things.
Get some of the kids to help you, Akeem. Kids like to do these kind of things. I rolled a 22.
Okay.
11.
Very well. All right.
Don't find any.
You do start to find stuff, but it's like a lot of what you find is partially burnt so far. You get hold of what looked to be like a piece of a dining table, some chairs, and a couple of barrels that you bring back sort of towards in front of the town hall that you can quite easily set alight to have a little bonfire.
Yep. And I just do a fireball on it, just so there's a little bit of warmth. And I call to the children and the families and be like, come gather to get a little bit of warmth.
And Caliban and Durbeck, as you sort of are dragging the cauldron back to the main hall, one of the little doors opens and you see, I think it'll be 4 more kobolds come in. 2 of them like wrapped up in little hoods. And they're like, oh, hello. See you later. And they go up the stairs.
I don't remember kobolds here before. Do you, Caliban?
Not here, no. But
Hey, hold on there. Hang on a second.
Yes, Mr. Durbeck?
Are they the sled drivers?
Not the sled drivers. The other. So there was additional. So you guys found more kobolds for Velen. They're part of her team of kobolds.
Okay. What are you guys doing down here? Just out of curiosity.
We need to get you all different hats.
Right. The mistress called us, said that this was going to be where we could be most useful. We've been hiding in the remains of the house, but we're bringing her stuff.
Okay, very good.
Did I find any water, DM?
You would have found in the speaker's own sort of chambers some drink, both some wine and also a jug of water.
I'll get the jug of water. Is there a
Were you
window?
looking beyond an initial amount of water? Were you trying to find a lot of water
Enough
everywhere?
to fill the cauldron. I suppose snow will probably suffice once it melts, right?
Exactly.
Is there a kitchen that we can set it up in that will have some ventilation and so on? I'd rather do it inside than out from a security standpoint.
Of course.
Let me see if the original map has a kitchen in it. I don't think it did. I would say that the employee break room would have a small sort of cooking stove, as well as the rooms upstairs, the ones that you've been sort of bunking in, would have some supplies for making very small kind of personal meals.
Okay. So let's get it set up. Maybe the townspeople can help us bring snow to fill it. Calvin, you think?
Agreed. I will go do that.
Okay. And Atka says, well, sorry, wrong accent, wrong voice. Atka says, it was nice meeting you all, but now that I'm out of jail, I'm going to go find a pub.
Can we interest
That
you?
may be difficult.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean?
The giant metal dragon, I thought we explained this.
Oh, shit. Like, is everything gone? Like, she kind of opens the door and looks outside, like...
I'll go over to the speaker. I'll go back up to the speaker's room, fetch the wine that I found.
Yeah.
I'll just like press it against her chest and say, "Start with this, and maybe it'll make you pleasant enough to be useful." No, I don't say that. I'll say, "Here, yours, and I promise you can keep more of if we find any. But we could use your help for the moment."
And she like quaffs it, like basically in 2 gulps. Just like almost like it's a shot of whiskey, like, but just kind of gloop, goes down easy, as wipes her mouth and says, "Thank you, but we're fucked. I thought I was fucked when I got to this stupid place a few weeks ago. This is ridiculous. We can't even go anywhere else."
No, we can't go anywhere else. So we stay here, we regroup, and we rebuild.
She looks a bit defeated, but thinks about it. All right.
Whatever speech you have. Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought that was gonna be more of a challenge to persuade you, but cool. I'll stop talking now. Caliban quietly shelves the little speech he had prepared.
Don't talk past the sale, right?
Yeah. This is like in the Justice League where Barry's like, "Stop right there, I'm in," and Batman's like, "You are? Okay."
All right. So Akeem is outside looking for scraps of wood, trying to build a bonfire. Oreo has been trying to sketch in his little notebook ideas for kind of trying to rebuild the town and supplies and stuff like that. Do you move around and have a look at what remains of the town at all whilst you're doing this, or are you just concentrating on the...
I'm doing that, and I'm taking Dawn with me, and I'm saying, "Dawn, do you know the people that are left? Can we find out who, I'm using Dawn, and I'm getting a couple of the kids to run around and find the best houses. I'm kind of using my skills and trying to get everyone, and survival skills, and sort of going looking at buildings, going, that one's, we're not going to worry about that one. That one looks intact. Go and have a look at it. I'm doing that.
Yeah. So the town's been pretty much decimated, but once again you see that the ferry building's intact, and everything in the sort of top 10% of the eastern part of town seems to still be somewhat standing, most of the buildings there. And you see that in between each of the gaps in the alleyways, there's been rubble, tables and things. Like, it looks like to have barriers that it's at least 5 to 6 foot high, blocking the entrance to that entire side. And Dorn explains that he doesn't know exactly how many people are on that side, but that there are several thugs that keep watch and make sure no one crosses over. And he also shows you another part of town that is quite badly damaged, but there's a little temple still standing. And he says,
"In there, some strange people that didn't want to be part of our sorry group and didn't seem to get along with Torga's men have made their stand in there."
Okay.
We're still not there? I'm still not there?
No, okay. Well, he's going around town.
Yeah.
So you, by that time, would have exited onto the main sort of entrance. with Durbik and Atka, and you would find Akeem sort of lighting up the bonfire, much to the awe of people seeing magic. Some of them for the first time, but definitely like impressed.
I'm gonna just take my shield and scoop up a bunch of snow into it. I'll be right back.
Oreo, as you walk through sort of the middle part of town, you also notice Salazar's shop almost completely decimated. But you see like a little shadow sort of slinking around between the top bits of the roof. You just kind of see a tail and like a glint of a movement.
I stop for a second and go, what was Salazar's cat's name? Did we get Salazar's cat's name?
I think I did come up with it. Let me look at my notes.
Mittens. It was definitely Mittens.
Zoya.
I go, ooh, Zoya.
And suddenly, like a little, like just the ears like come up from the other side of the roof, and then you see like two little, like sort of green golden kind of, almost like emerald and gold together eyes pop up and look straight at you.
And I cast Speak with Animals because I'm now a ranger. and I speak to the cat.
Okay. So the cat comes down towards you and sort of drops down like a little drop of water falling off the roof, just like without a sound into the snow, just kind of bloop, and comes up to you. And as you're casting the spell, you go from hearing a sound that was more like a kind of like a chirp to suddenly hearing, "Oh, hello, Mr. Oreo. Can you help?
How are you? What's going on? Is Salazar okay?
The master is hurt. I cannot free him, and I couldn't find help."
All right. Zoya. I'm going to start helping. Try and find. You show me where your master is. Me and my companion Dawn here will try and start helping. But would you go back to the town speaker, town hall, and go to Durbik, right? And I scribble a note and carry this to him, and I put it in her collar or sort of in her mouth or wherever. And we will rescue the
She
master.
grabs it between her teeth because she doesn't have a collar.
Okay.
And she runs in and guides you, and you see that sort of in between the rubble, close to where the fireplace would have been and the counter of the shop, there's a huge collapsed bit of stone and the top wooden floor planks and some of the roof shingles that have come down because one of the beams that the architraves in the middle of the building come down. And all you see is like sort of a blue slipper from underneath some of the stones, and just the kind of edge of a hand and arm, some distance away, about 6 foot away. That's all that's sticking out.
I go to Salazar. Can you hear me?
No response.
I try and start moving some rocks. I say, Dawn, would you just help me move some rocks, see if we can expose his head or something like that?
I'll do what I can.
Absolutely. Don't have to do more than you can.
And he starts helping. He's got, and you see his hands as he pulled the rocks away. This is a man that worked his entire life. He's got those kind of thick mechanic fingers, you know what I'm, but they're all wrinkly, but they still look like they could undo a bolt just with his hand. He starts pulling rocks slowly. His back is really what is giving him trouble, but his hands are quite swift, and he pulls some rocks away. What I would say, roll a dexterity check with advantage.
Dexterity? Ooh, okay. That's going to be a 16.
Okay. You pull the stones carefully, sort of like a game of Jenga, without collapsing it further, and you start to uncover bits of Salazar's robe, and then finally you see his face. It's badly sort of smashed up from the damage or whatever hit him. Blood sort of frozen to his face. He looks unconscious.
Can I do a medicine check to see if he's alive?
Sure. Roll a medicine check.
That's going to be not great. 12.
You feel a pulse. He seems alive, but beyond that, you're not sure, like
Damn it.
how close to death he might be.
I'm not a medico of any description. All right. So I'm trying to help him and sort of clear him off. I don't have any potions of healing.
Okay.
You cure wounds?
Can't, no.
Oh.
Not. Range is not.
Okay. Well, it takes you a little bit longer, but with the help of Dorn, you clear Salazar out of the rubble, and he's limp. He's fully unconscious. There's frozen blood to his face. Like I said, there's bruises everywhere. He doesn't seem to be responsive if you're trying to wake him up. Now, whilst this is happening, Zoya would have made its way back up to Durbek, and you just kind of feel like a little sort of pat on your leg, Durbek, and you look down and you see this beautiful, large, almost dog-sized cat. Very elegant. You recognize as Zoya, and
Zoya.
she just sort of chirps and does almost a little silent meow. It barely comes out, sort of like, but the mouth opens as if she did a full meow.
And is there a piece of paper there?
Yeah, just like resting in her teeth.
All right. So I'll pet Zoya on the head. Zoya.
And she just leans into it.
Yeah. And check the message. And then head off to help Oreo.
Okay.
Maybe invite Nora to come with me. If there's injured civilians, we probably could use Nora. Is she here?
She was in between the people that were in front of you, trying to see if she could heal anybody or bandage them up and stuff. You want her to come with you?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I'll be back, folks. Don't you worry. I'll be back with more healing and more bandages. Don't just stay here, and it'll all be fine. And she follows you. Akeem and Caliban, are you guys going along, or?
I would have. Durbek, you think you'll need me?
I think we need to get the cauldron going. So I think if you and
I'll stay here and do that. Yeah. And sorry, what was the orc's name again?
Atka.
Atka. I will stay with Atka, and we'll go full soup kitchen. We'll set up a thing, just stacks of cups and stuff. I just say to her, everybody gets one bowl. The stuff that she's seen the cauldron now. We're not keeping that a secret.
Right.
So I say to her,
well, but she's looking. Putting snow into it and says, "Not to be that gal, but you know that's not that nutritious."
I flick the cauldron. Does it do the thing? Can I have that cool moment, or just
let me have a look. I don't know if it requires. I don't think it requires
heat or anything.
If water is poured into the cauldron and stirred for 1 minute, it transforms into a hearty hot stew.
Okay, so I'm stirring it. I'm like, wait for it. Wait for it.
And suddenly there's sort of like a swoosh and this just swirl of kind of golden, almost brown, it's just kind of like earthy and energy swirls like an eddy current inside the cauldron, and then it just turns into a broth, and the smell of sort of meat and vegetables and mushrooms just fills the air, and the side of the cauldron feels warm to the touch. It's like, whoa.
Any more questions, or are we good to grab some cups?
I'm down.
Sweet.
See, I've gone ahead with Durbek at this point, because obviously they've got the cauldron.
Yeah, we'll just do that while they're doing whatever they're doing.
Okay. So, Akeem and Durbek, you rush to Salazar's house, and you don't even have to open the door. It's caved in. There's barely any house left, actually. Just the side of the walls and a little bit of the roof on either side. Inside
I like to
everything.
imagine he turns the knob and then the door just falls forward, leaving the knob still in his hand.
But you find Dorn and Oreo trying to tend to Salazar, who appears to be completely limp on the ground, badly hurt.
Nora, can you help him?
Sure. And she kneels down beside him, chants a little prayer, rubbing her hands, and just puts them on his chest. And a little sort of golden energy flows through her fingers and sort of seems to innervate him. It flows through his nerves and through his blood vessels. You kind of see it glow underneath the skin, and his eyes open up. Let me see how much she heals them by. She would have had 1 first-level Cure Wounds left after healing the townsfolk. So he's healed 11 hit points. And he like wakes up and looks around in terror, says, "We must warn the dragon." Oh,
Don't worry, Salazar. The dragon is dead.
Oh.
Caliban killed it with a mighty blow.
It is good to see you, my friends. I must apologize. I was in the process of sending you a message to warn you, and I'm afraid my house collapsed on me. I tried to cast spells, but my hands were restrained, and I could barely speak.
That's okay. We're back together now, Salazar, and your lovely cat Zoya is the one responsible for your rescue. For if I hadn't seen her, we wouldn't have known you were here.
And at this, he tries to smile. You can see that it's hurting him. And as he smiles, you can see that one of his tooths is kind of just cracked in half. From what you remember, he had like a beautiful kind of perfect smile. He says, she's always quite good. Is everybody all right? Did you stop the dragon before any further destruction? Well, I must. And he's trying to stand up, but by the way, he's got five levels of exhaustion, as he was trying to wriggle free for like the 2 days that you guys were chasing the dragon.
Come. Let's, Dermot, let's help him up.
Yep.
'Cause I'm not that strong. Sorry, and let's get you back to the town's hall, and we can move from there.
So, like with the arm over the shoulder, kind of helping him to walk along, can he get there, or do we need to actually carry him?
You kind of almost have to carry him, like arm on each shoulder, and basically his feet are barely moving, because at level 5 exhaustion, your speed is 0. I'll say his speed is like 1 foot, so you basically have to carry him like his walking sticks.
Yeah.
And as you emerge and he sees the devastation, you just can feel him sink. And just he pauses and says, "Dear gods."
Yes, well.
Let us get to the town hall. I'm sure we can organize what we'll do to help with Speaker Daneth. We'll know what to do.
I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, Salazar, but Speaker Deneth is dead, as is I always forget her name, Caliban's paramour. God, Captain.
Yes. Now you made me forget the name. When someone says, "I don't remember," like I always forget as well. The moment you say it,
I've got to write my notes up properly. I've got so many notes here and so many names.
Yes, it starts to get a bit confused. Captain Arlagath, that was her name. Her first name was Imdra.
Imdra, that's right, Imdra. I'm afraid Imdra is also no more. We are trying to gather the people that are left, feed them, and I'm trying to ascertain what East Haven is like and how we can help. When we get back, I must discuss with you, Dervik, because Akeem and I have discovered some distressing news about a villain called Torga, who has taken over the inhabitable part of the village and has barricaded herself in. I think we might have to, shall we say, have stern words with her. Sorry, Min, you're muted.
I think I could muster a talking to.
Perhaps some aggressive negotiations.
I think aggressive negotiations would be appropriate.
Caliban's ears perk up and he has no idea why.
Salazar would say, looking around, says, "It looks like the storage for the town supplies is all but destroyed. We will struggle to feed the people, but the cauldron, if it's still there, that will go a long way.
We are already on it, Salazar.
Oh, good, my friends. And he sort of almost passes out a couple of times. You can feel him kind of go completely limp a few times, and then kind of wakes up and tries to walk. But you reach the front of the town hall, and at this point, you can see Caliban and Atka are kind of ladling soup into, as many cups as they can, glasses they found indoors. Anything that's even remotely cup-shaped is being used as a receptacle for soup.
Can I see them at this point?
Yeah.
I'll look at them and I'll say to Utka, keep the line moving. I gotta tend to Salazar.
And she's like, oh, fine. All right.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
And as you leave, you hear her go, "Hey, you, back of the line. I saw you." And you see like a little kid run to the back of the line.
No soup for you.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
I'll look at the kid, use Thaumaturgy to suddenly make my eyes just flare red and just do this. But I'll go over to Salazar. It's like, hey man.
You, Mr. Caliban, it is.
Well.
Yes, I can only imagine. But thank you for the kind words.
This is going to feel a little bit of a shock, but you're gonna feel better in a moment. I'll put 2 fingers to his forehead, and I will empty the clip in terms of lay on hands, which is 35 hit points.
Okay. Let me see how many his total hit points would normally be. Let's forget if he's... I'll just call it as being good enough to basically put weight on his feet again. He's exhausted, so he can barely move, but he's no longer got sort of a broken femur and the smashed rib cage. That seems to have sort of gone.
That should at least help with some of the pain.
That is most kind, my friend. It is something I will not forget.
Well,
anytime.
I suggest you get yourself upstairs to bed, Salazar, and rest, because we will need your services shortly.
Yes, thank you kindly. And Nora takes him inside.
I tell Caliban and Durbik about Torga and what's happening and the plan and the East Part thing and the temple, and I go through everything that I've said and Akeem and I have done, and we say, I humbly suggest that we, Durbik and Caliban, that we take charge of East Haven.
That's an interesting idea.
I'm not opposed to that idea. Given the dire straits we find ourselves in, is it okay to pull fewer punches with the kinds of shit stains that would seek to profit off of this sort of calamity?
Wholeheartedly, I totally agree with you, Caliban. I think Akeem suggested some aggressive negotiation techniques.
Should we go make a social visit on this Torga then?
I think so.
Perhaps it's worth coming up with a game plan before we head to her. Now, I haven't used my tattoo for the day. That's something we potentially have at our disposal if we want to set a trap.
Do you know, technically, I think going up and beating the living crap out of her is probably my preferred option.
Yes, but if we get her to come out of her fortification, that may be slightly easier.
True.
And at this point, you guys see that 4 of the kobolds have been sent to help Atka. And they're kind of, holding, passing, cups along and things, and bickering between themselves and with the children. They're sort of just kind of scattering around, and but they seem to have been sent to help.
Okay. Could I turn to one of the kobolds, and I go, Meepo 3.
What? I'm Meepo. He's...
I have the names.
He's Hawks.
Hawks.
And the one that gets pointed at says,
No, I'm not. I'm Eric's. He's Hawks.
for the sake of argument, you're Meepo 2, you're Meepo 3, you're Meepo 4.
And you see them kind of slightly indignant, but, they're kind of scaredy cats, so they don't say anything.
Look,
I I flick Oreo on the ears, like, a little insensitive, don't you think?
just haven't got time, I know, Caliban, but, I have to say, and I whispered to Caliban, don't you think they all look the same, though?
I'm sure all us redskins look the same to you.
No, your horns are all different. Anyway, one of you, would you go upstairs and tell your lovely Mistress Velen that we just need to make sure that the cauldron is secure? We are going to go off to have a little conversation with Torga.
Okay. Yes, sir.
One of them darts inside. The other ones made a dash, but one in particular was faster. And they're like, the other ones get upset, because they sort of lost the race as to who would have that honor. But he scuttles off inside.
What do you suggest, Caliban, in the tactical department? Because my brain is kind of used on at the moment.
Well, she's extorting people at the moment, right?
Mm.
I could play the role of the aggrieved father whose daughter has fallen very injured and ill from the dragon attack and desperately needs medicine, and he's willing to barter with her. She comes out or lets us in. The rest is history.
What do you think?
We could even find a large sack, put you inside it, Oreo, because you're quite collapsible. And I say, these are the goods I'm willing to trade, and they'll be like, surprise, motherfucker. As for Caliban and Durbeck, I don't exactly have a plan on smuggling them inside, but that's what I'm coming up with so far, and I'm willing to hear other ideas workshop and brainstorm.
Or we go pretend to offer our services to her. Get close, do the deed.
I know her type. I don't trust anyone, and for good reason. We can do that, but that's gonna be risky. They're more likely to fall for something if they believe they have all the power.
All right.
I'm willing to do that.
But if you feel strongly about the tactic of offering your services,
No, that's good.
And then we just rush them and beat the living crap out of her. I think Caliban, we could basically use her as a calling card for what happens if you mess with us at East Haven.
I thought the dragon was our calling card.
Well, dragon, yes, but no one saw us. Very few people saw us do that.
Annoying.
So Caliban, you lead. Don't let the cat out of the bag, and Akeem will just skulk nearby and try and get in unseen.
Okay.
Can we find a large sack? I'll like go back into the town hall, get a sack of potatoes, or find a sack of something.
Roll an investigation check.
Sack of what?
That's a 10, I think.
Okay. It's got a few holes, but you do find a sack that contained... actually, you're not sure what it contained, but it smells real bad.
Oreo, I'm so sorry about this.
Oreo looks at you as like...
It's either this or you pretend to be a pelt.
Okay. So do you go towards the... You go towards the eastern part of town, yeah? Cool. So as you reach, you all basically realize that there's about maybe 10% of the town that was not destroyed completely. Some of the buildings are destroyed in this section, but not all of them, and not as much as everywhere else. But now you can all see what Oreo saw, which is barricades, sort of makeshift barricades of tables, rocks, barrels and things, just kind of making a makeshift wall that varies between 4 and 7 foot in height. You're about 120 feet, maybe 180 feet away.
I'll lead everyone behind the building so that we're out of sight. And I say, okay, Durbik and Nakeem, you should probably stay out of sight, and once you hear chaos ensue, come charging in through the front door.
We can stealth and sneak up as close as we can to wherever you are anyway.
We'll draw their attention with the ruse. You
Okay,
ready,
good.
Ario? You ready, Ario?
Where are you going? Because this is like an entire neighborhood that's been fenced off for you. There's several buildings, several barriers.
Which I was saying, I don't know if anyone's watching us, and I've got an hour on the disguise, so I'm gonna do it ahead of time now. I will clap my tattoo, and I will make myself look like a pot-bellied farmer, dirty, like shaggy clothes, big old scraggly beard, mid-50s to mid to late 50s.
Okay.
Like the guy from Fiddler on the Roof.
Tevia. Fantastic.
And then I will, maybe a bit of a gate to my, not a gate, like a bit of a hobble to my walk. I will make my way towards where the I'll try to follow the fortifications.
Okay, just by yourself? Everybody else is hanging back?
I've got Oreo on my back.
No, I know
sack,
that.
And
And I think Akeem and Durbik are trying to stay as close as we can in stealth.
Okay, roll stealth checks for me.
Ooh, first roll of the day.
Yeesh. 16.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
It's not a race.
Let me just double check their passive perception. Alright, good to know. So Caliban, as you approach and you get closer, you see sort of a merchant's house and what was probably a small shop of some kind, but you're not sure what it's sold because the sign has been obliterated. But it's kind of 3/4 of it are still up as far as the building is concerned. And as you approach the barrier, you can kind of see a few heads behind moving and kind of having a look. And you're about 60 foot away at this point.
I'll look really like hobbled and weak. I'll get maybe 50 feet, not 50 feet closer. I'll get maybe to within 50 feet and I'll shout out, "Please, my daughter. She's very sick. I've come to barter for medicine, if I can."
We already gave away everything for the weak, old man.
When then
Please,
there's a little pause. It says,
I don't recognize you. What have you got to trade?
Pelts. Family heirlooms. That's all we have.
Come closer.
I'll hobble closer.
At this point, you can see eyes peering at you through, like, between tables and planks and things, and a face kind of pops out of a point where it's a little bit lower, and there's a man in his kind of early 40s, grizzled face, a scar going from the side of his eye down to his mouth. It says,
Well then, where's the pelts?
I put the bag down, reach inside,
Okay.
and I'll try to find Oreo. Yeah, I'll find Oreo's paw, and I'll hold it out.
and they sort of roll a deception check.
Dre, is this a situation where we could, while they're distracted, Akeem and Durbik could say, I'm not sure how wide this wall is, could we go 50 or 60 feet away from where they're talking to these people and try and slip over the wall without being seen?
Well, this wall is probably about 30, 40 feet between two houses. You could try to go to the next one, basically.
What do you think?
Like, basically, between each row of houses, it looks like they boarded up the street that would allow you to travel up and down.
Got it.
If you want to do an investigation of kind of another alley or some of the buildings to see if there's a way through, you could sort of have a look.
What do you say, Akeem? Or should we just wait?
I really want to try it, but but I think we should wait.
All right.
Do you really want to go?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's try it.
All right. You
Smart
can
one.
each roll an investigation check as you kind of quietly, stealthily look through and see if there's any ways through that you could go unnoticed.
My investigation's good, so let's see where this takes me.
Yeah.
I said that a little too early. 7.
7 and 18. Okay. Well, Akeem, you see a gap in sort of 2 alleys over where you think you could sneak through. Durbek would struggle a bit, but he might be able to jump over. And you feel like it might be safe. Durbek, you also see that, but you notice that there's a guard posted at that entrance. But what you also see is that potentially there might be a way through onto the other side by going into the building and through the smashed up house and onto the other side of the street. Maybe. It looks like there's a gap in the wall and you might be able to go into the house and out of the back door.
You feel lucky?
High risk, high reward.
So I think it's good. I think we need some forces on the other side of this wall, and I think while they're distracted is the best time to do it. So let's go.
Agreed.
Okay.
DM?
Yeah.
Natural 19 for a total of 23.
Okay.
What kind of fur is that? That looks like it's still attached.
And the other guy's like, it seems nice though.
Like, well, how do you know? You're not a furrier. All right. Well,
It's a mark of its quality. It was an old family heirloom from my grandmother. She told me it was
all right. What do you need?
medicine.
What medicine? Be specific.
My daughter sustained a terrible injury during the calamity with the dragon. Her wounds are infected.
All right. Well, stay here. Keep in sight.
And he turns around and whispers something to the guy that was next to him, and that guy sort of goes off.
No funny business.
Please hurry. What if it were your daughter?
All right. So, do you just kind of wait?
Can I see through? I just want to make sure I've got a clear line of sight to a spot on the other side of this wall.
Roll a perception check.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Okay. As you kind of put the sack down, pretending that you're going to take a rest, and you kind of crouch down slightly, you quickly glance around, trying to find a gap, and you see a small gap lower to the ground, and you sort of go down to sort of tie your shoelaces, so to speak, and you're able to sneak a look through, and you see onto the other side, there is several sort of tough-looking men keeping guard with various weapons, and you see that they've got, a small table there with a few things on it, and you see one person darting off and going sort of beyond your field of vision and disappearing.
I will very, very subtly murmur, like almost inaudibly, and I'm relying on Oreo's cat-like hearing. If shit goes south, I may lob you over the wall and then misty step to the other side. I don't think I'll be able to warn you when I do it, so be ready.
All good. I think I have my bag of tricks ready to rumble as well.
As this is kind of happening, Durbek and Akeem, you are on your own for about 20 minutes, and you hear nothing. What do you do? Do you sit there for 20 minutes, or after like 10 minutes, do you kind of?
I think we're quite antsy.
I don't think we would sit. I think we're trying to get through the other side and get somewhere where we can see the backside of that gate or wherever it is that they're talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want a sneaky?
Marching order, please.
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right, I'll take up the
So
rear.
Durbek, you barely squeeze through a gap in a wall that was smashed to smithereens, and you see that basically it wasn't really broken. A claw carved through the stone like it was butter, and it basically it slashed the wall, and some of the bricks collapsed, so that now you can sort of barely squeeze through in your armor. No, actually, you don't have any armor, but you're still quite stout and muscular. Whereas Akeem, you're quite slender and tall. You can kind of just shimmy through quite easily. But you find yourself You find yourself in what appears to have been a fisherman's house. You can sort of tell from some of the sort of accoutrements on the walls. There's a plaque with large knucklehead trout, and there's some fishing equipment, but it's all smashed to bits, and some of it is burnt and stuff, but not as badly as the other houses that you've been through. But looking around, you see that there's a door with what do you call those kind of wooden planks that you put behind to kind of stop people coming in? It's got a name. Yeah, I guess a wooden bar that's over the rear door of the house to keep it shut.
So go. There's windows, right? So go low so that we're not walking around, with our heads hanging out. Get over and try and get a look out the window to see if we can see anyone moving around nearby.
Okay. Roll a stealth check with advantage because you've got like 3/4 cover as you kind of peer up.
16.
As you peer around, this is kind of one house over from the one you need to be, so you can't see the bandits or thugs that your friends are going to have to deal with, but you do see the one lone guy that you would have come across if you'd gone through that other barrier.
Yeah.
And and he's just kind of almost asleep at his post, but not fully, but just kind of half dozing off.
So he's kind of on the far side of the house from the gate. Gate.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And in the distance, you can see a few other houses and alleyways, and very far in a large building, you see a door swing open, and a few people come out and head off in the direction of where your friends are.
Okay, so very gently ease up the bar on the back of the door. Quietly remove it so that we can get the door open.
Roll a stealth check.
For both of us?
If you both do it together, you can have advantage.
Yep, let's do that. Really?
20. Dirty 20.
9.
Okay. Durbek, you sort of lift up, and Akeem, you also lift, but the mismatch in strength means that it goes up quicker on one side than the other, and Akeem, you almost drop it. But Durbek is able to kind of almost hold on to it by himself on the other side, and so you're able to kind of find a better grip and get your hands around and hold it and put it down gently without making a noise.
That was bigger than I thought.
There's one guard on the far side of the house. So let's creep out this door and see if we can make our way over to the gate. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan to me.
So just open the door just a little bit and see if we can see if anyone's out there.
You're as gentle and as quiet as possible. It just kind of goes, but just barely, and the guy kind of goes, looks around, and goes back to sleep.
Right.
But you dart out and weave through the streets. You can see those people kind of getting closer, but they're going to be obscured from vision in about maybe 5 or 10 seconds as they go into an alleyway beyond your range of vision.
Okay.
But you can now see that there's a guy that looks to be in sailor's clothes meant for much warmer weather. Like, he should be freezing to death, but he's not. He looks quite tall and proud, and there's sort of a very bundled up dwarf with him and a couple of people following behind.
So this is like another patrol that may be coming to reinforce the people at the gate? Is that?
Roll a perception check.
Let's get ready to rumble.
11.
16.
You're not sure, but something's different. Like these don't look like regular. Some of them, 2 of them, don't look like regular thugs. The main dwarf that seems to be in a place of honor, and the bodyguard with basically no clothes on, seem different.
Okay. So I think our plan is still to get up to where we can get eyes on the people that Caliban was speaking with.
Okay.
Yeah, still not changed.
So roll another stealth check, each of you, for me, as you kind of sneak through. Do you want to go basically on the streets, or do you mean get up? When you say get above, like, do you mean like on top of the houses, or?
No, I was thinking in the streets. Get eyes on them. We're not going to try and get up because
we don't want to be too far away that we can't react if they need us.
Okay, very well.
16.
Okay. And Durbik?
Oh, 9.
9. Okay.
It was almost a natural 20, but wasn't.
You dart between like one house to another, sort of trying to keep to the shadows and trying to sort of go where there's barrels or anything like that, and you make your way into the what you think will be the alleyway where you can sort of look onto the main street where your friends might be. And as you poke your head round the corner, you see these people arriving, and now you can see the guy that's in the kind of mariner's vest. It's quite a nice kind of sailor's outfit. But it's basically sleeveless, and he doesn't have any fur or anything covering him, and he's got remarkably blue eyes. And the dwarf you see is wearing some very nice, rich pelts and furs, and beside her is someone kind of like a rather sort of sneaky, sort of subservient guy, kind of talking and making himself obsequious. Is that the right word?
Yep.
Anyway. But you can't hear the conversation, and you can see from the other side the barrier, and standing at the barrier there's 4 muscular looking thugs in heavy furs with swords and clubs and things like that.
Akeem, next time we do this, let's be sure to ask what Torga looks like before we come.
That would make quite a lot of sense.
So I think we're just looking for a quiet place to be ready to pounce on bad guys.
Okay.
Whoever looks like the baddest, we'll just attack them.
And Caliban, at this point, you hear the voice that was talking to you before going,
All right, stand up. Look pretty.
I got kind of like a lazy eye going on.
you hear a new voice going, well then, what is this about? Medicine, do you say? And like, no, she's not talking to you. You know how rare the medicine is. Unless this person's got anything valuable, I will seriously come down on you hard. Are we understood? You don't get me out of bed for something so ridiculously underpriced as a pelt. Hey, you, what's your name? And this time she's talking to you.
Donovan.
Well, Donovan, you better have something of real value. Otherwise, my friends here will teach you a real lesson you won't soon forget.
Of course, Mom, please. Hear a desperate father out. If you give me but a moment to show ye, I think I have something you may be interested in.
Very well. Come on then. 1 second. Ender, open the gate. And you can see that one of the large trestle tables has been kind of almost put on what could be like a hinge. It's somehow been jimmied so that they can swing it sort of open with some force. It's difficult, and they have to move a few things, but they open a small gap, and out come 4 large men, and behind comes the dwarf, and you see for the first time, Caliban, a dwarf lady, but it's hard to see her face. It's all covered in furs and things. She's got a strange kind of necklace around around her neck, sort of like a chain with like a large iron key.
Okay, does the key look like an actual key, or does it look like an amulet that's shaped like a key?
You can have a look if you want. Perception check, yeah?
Yeah, quick glance. Balls 10.
You can't be sure at this distance. You're concentrating on the thugs and the situation, especially the very strange-looking fellow that you feel like you might have seen before, wearing very little clothing. You're trying to remember. You definitely saw him somewhere before.
Pardon me.
Who's one of her thugs?
It just looks like it's her personal bodyguard.
Okay, he's wearing little clothing. How little clothing?
He looks like he's wearing the clothes that you'd have in a summer in Waterdeep.
Can I roll to see if I recognize him? Oh shit.
Sure. Roll a history check.
I'm also interested if I've seen any creatures creatures like this or people under this kind of effect. Can I do a history check?
Roll a history check, Durbik. Sorry, how much, Caliban?
15, and can I do a really quick divine sense as part of like seeing them come out?
Sure. 1 second.
Oh, that was a loaded sure.
You faintly remember seeing this fellow the day that you met Akeem and Zaxa and Rover during the sorting and selecting of who would be sent to the waste to die in Brynshanda. He was there, and you remember the dwarf. She was also there. They were watching, and they received a package from the caravan. And as you sort of mutter your prayer to sort of throw up your divine sense, and your eyes kind of briefly glaze over and flash with divine energy, and you see the mariner-looking guy suddenly sort of appear like a horror movie. You kind of see his skull flash through his skin, and like a faint kind of aura of cold and death.
Undead?
Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes, Oreo?
I'm just readying an action.
Okay.
So I've got my hand crossbow out, and my other hand's in my bag of tricks, ready to roll.
Okay. I'll like stoop over myself and try to hobble towards her very meekly with the sack. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
And the other dude kind of comes in between you and like stops you, like lifts up his hands like,
Surprise
hold
attack.
there, friend.
Surprise attack.
Of course. If you would but a moment, allow me to show you, and I will empty the bag. I'll like pour the bag out.
Yeah.
And as part of that, can I basically like with one hand empty the bag and with the other hand make an attack? So Oreo and I can make an attack at the same time against this thing.
You'd have to close the distance, but is that what you wanting to try to do?
Yes, I'm trying to close the distance so I can like present.
And in
All
fact, my fingers crossed was for surprise attack. So I think between Caliban and Durbik, it's initiative time. It's my guess.
Okay. Yep, we're gonna have to roll for initiative. Let's do that.
Yep, that's what I thought.
So were we able to get closer though?
I need to set it up, and I need to have a quick die roll to see what happens.
Do we not get any kind of surprise as a result of the performance?
You will you have to roll. And you probably have like advantage and things like that. But you know, these are people that are trained to not trust anyone. So let's have a look.
Suspicious.
Yeah. So Caliban, initiative.
Okay. Straight initiative.
Yeah.
Durbik, we're gonna have to try and close.
Not bad. Not bad.
How much?
16.
16.
For
Akeem?
Caliban.
I've just rolled 13.
Okay. Durbik?
19.
Okay. And Oreo?
Dirty 20.
Mother.
Nice. Nora's not there. Can I turn her off? No, I cannot. All right. Starting the encounter. Give me a second to set it up.
Okay. I'm gonna say, Durbik and Akeem attacking from the rear is.
Giggity.
Can I just say, as far as my plans go, this one went better than usual.
It's very good.
We haven't even had a divine sense yet.
Yes, we did, and we
Did
found
we?
out that...
Oh yes, we did. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm just so used to hearing them so frequently.
Ouch.
No, that's me saying I want to hear it more frequently.
Yeah.
I've got used to it.
That's a very cool model, Trey.
Brilliant.
Okay, I feel like we need a emergency sound for y'all to run when I'm about to bring a 4th level attack.
Resistant to fire. Do your thing.
I mean, the last time you said that, you got like.
There's the
15
people at
points
the
of damage.
There's the people at the rear, as well. Remember?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of taking the Shield Master feat just so I can take no damage when I succeed on the dexterity saving throw against.
We're in what they call a target-rich environment right now, Akeem.
Yeah.
If y'all hear caca,
Actually, Akeem, you're about to hear something in a moment. Which reminds me, I need to get a war horn for these situations.
Okay. Caliban, roll a performance. Roll a deception check.
Okay. 12, 8 plus 4.
Okay. The sailor is not surprised.
Shit.
Yeah, he's about to be.
Torga is surprised. And the bandits.
Is
do one
Torga.
roll for all of them. The bandits are also surprised. Okay.
So many surprises. and things.
It is Oreo's turn. What would you like to do? Well,
So,
you had a ready action.
I had a ready action, so as I leap out a bag, I, with one hand, throw one of the furballs at the undead creature,
Okay.
and then bonus action Hunter's Mark Torga.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Roll your die to see what creature comes out.
Hang on, I'm just doing that. And he gets a boar landing in his face.
Ooh, that's it.
Nice.
I'm gonna use this dire wolf instead, but he will roll to see if he avoids it. Dexterity saving throw. I'm gonna say the DC is 15. Okay, so I will say the boar will be able to attack.
So the boar suddenly, you basically watch as I leap out the bag, I throw the boar, and you watch Caliban as this boar lands in the guy's face, and the boar could that technically be a charge?
No, it needs the movement like 20 feet to be a charge.
Probably under its
Nice
own
try.
power.
That's going to be a 19 to hit,
Nice.
19 hits.
and that's going to be roll the 6, 7 points of slashing damage with its tusks.
Okay. Very good. And okay, is that the end of your turn?
That's all I can do because that's throwing
Yeah,
the thing is an action.
Just
And
checking.
bonus action Hunter's Mark, and I don't have 2 attacks, so
Okay, so I don't know if you can see Durbik, but you're back here.
Oh, great.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And it's your
yeah,
turn.
Yeah, great position.
So bonus action, activate the black hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Are they far enough that I should use it as a missile weapon, or are they close enough that I should?
They are 35 feet away from you.
Okay. Then I'm going to hold my main action until Akeem gets whatever it is that he's got coming out of his inner soul. So I'm basically holding it to charge them after his spell.
Very well. Caliban, it is your turn.
Do I try to immobilize the undead or do I just try to damage him?
take him out.
Okay, bonus action Vow of Enmity against the undead guy, giving me advantage on all attacks against him for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
As just a free action, I'm just gonna yell, Akeem! Light!
Okay.
And I'm gonna take 2 swings against the undead guy with the war pick.
Okay, you have to close the distance. And
will.
you run towards him. And you see him look at you and smile. And a swirl of snow and ice just goes... and he's disappeared from your view.
Not much of a bodyguard.
I was gonna say.
Torga's like, dude, what am I paying you for?
He's reappeared over there behind Oreo.
Well, you don't know.
Oh, so I don't know he's there?
No, you can take an action to look at where he might have gone.
That would burn my action. Shit. Alright, here's what I'm gonna do actually. Is the little opening where the other guards are still open? Like in the gate?
Yes, but it's blocked by Torga, who is just about to come out. Basically, she's in front of it.
Thinking of shoving Torga back towards it so she's in range of the fireball. You know what? I'm just gonna swing twice at Torga.
Okay.
No advantage. God damn it. Shit. I don't think the first one hits. 13?
13 doesn't hit. It glances off her studded leather armor, and she just doesn't know what's happening yet. She's very confused at the strength of the old man and the
She's
the
surprised,
weapon.
you said, right?
Yeah.
Do I have advantage on these because she's surprised?
You don't get all it means is she doesn't get a turn.
Okay, well I rolled so bad. I rolled a 15 for the second one.
Okay. 15 just hits.
Okay. And you know what? I'll just pump a first level Divine Smite into that. So she takes 7 points of piercing damage
Okay.
and an additional,
You have a war pick at the moment, right?
a war picks to piercing.
Yeah. No, I was just checking what weapon it is for my own narrative purposes.
An additional 5 points of radiant damage. Wow, I rolled so bad on that whole turn.
5 of radiant. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you swing your war pick and you hit, and actually the first one missed, right?
Yeah, first one misses.
So you go wide. She's terrified, but I guess it threw you off to have the first target disappear. But the second hit hits home and glances off the sort of armor on her shoulder and pierces deep into it. And you can see her sort of scream in pain and yelp, and the fur gets stained and kind of runs black.
Black?
And anything else? Well, fur that's stained by red blood in the dark.
Okay, fine. That's all. Do I have any movement left?
You probably have 5-10 feet if you want.
I'm gonna run back towards Oreo.
And she can't take an opportunity because she's surprised. And as you turn around and look, you see that the guy is right there. Behind Oreo, getting ready to hit him.
Okay.
And it's his turn. And Caliban, what you see is him pulling out of a scabbard a large, sort of pirate-like scimitar made of pure ice, glinting blue. And he brings across his other hand and grabs it and goes to strike Oreo deep into his back. So, attack twice. So, +5, okay. Oof, that's really low. 11.
He miss.
And natural 1.
He miss.
Oh my god. Alright.
I say to him, I'm sure the build-up was amazing in your head, and I'm almost genuinely sorry for you.
Alright. It is Akeem's turn. Actually, no. He will once again disappear in a swirling sort of mist of ice and snow and pop up here onto the barrier.
Okay. Oh, bad idea.
Terrible choice. A terrible.
And it is Akeem's turn.
Do it. Do it
So,
now.
is Derwick next to me?
Yes.
Yes.
I turn around and look at him with the biggest smile on my face. Turn around to face the bandits, and you just hear me say, Drakara Maragulis, and then I cast Fireball at a 4th level.
4th level.
Can you like empower it maybe as well, or
He doesn't have
Oh, it
that.
doesn't need anything else. So I tried to catch as many of them as possible, including the guy who just disappeared. Yeah, everybody.
Oh my god.
Everybody there.
puppy?
That just fits. God
Everybody.
damn. All right. Dexterity saving throws for all of them. Okay.
15.
So. Roll your damage so I'll know what to do, but I'm gonna roll the dexterity saving throws. So that's
28.
28. Okay. So 15. Does 15 pass? saving
15
throw?
hits.
Does it
Sorry,
save?
is 15
Sorry, no.
the
It's 15.
15 is the DC.
15?
15
So
is the DC.
okay. So Sefik passes. Okay. Torga plus 5. 17 Torga.
Lucky.
And the thugs, I'm gonna do one roll for all of them. Actually, I'll do one for each. It's easier. They all fail.
Bye bye.
Bad day to be a
Alright.
thug.
28 points of fire damage.
Yep.
All right.
That structure is also like gone, right?
Yep.
It's been blasted apart and it's on fire.
Remember, I still have 3 3rd level slots of fireball.
Oh, actually, yeah.
And it's Durbick's hold action now.
Yes.
yeah.
It's what we call mopping up.
Are the thugs
Okay,
still standing?
so and they're all kind of just blasted, and this just scattered everywhere.
Just gone.
They managed to land on their feet off to the side, but
But
the
no.
barrier and parts of the houses have caught fire. So they're actually, it's like a circus kind of barrier of fire that the lion has to jump across, actually, kind of thing. Okay. Torga is surprised, as were the thugs, even more so now. But, so, hold action by Durbick, right?
Yeah, so is there a bandit close that is still up, or can I see the
The
jaunty
narrative
sailor?
is that they fell over, I guess, but that doesn't have to be the case in terms of mechanics. So you have 6 thugs that you could hit.
Are they still alive?
Can
They're
I see
all
the-
burning. They're like
Okay.
some of them don't have any hair left. Some of them it's like an arm was missing, like it got blown off by the explosion. They all look very close to death, but they're still alive. These were tough, sort of really tough bandits.
All right, and the
But they're kind of running around like screaming, and they're kind of like little human torches.
Mercy killing.
jaunty sailor guy. I can't quite tell. Dre, can I see him still? Is he
Sorry, which guy?
the jaunty sailor guy?
You would not have eyes on him from where you are. You'd have to move closer to the barrier.
Then I'm just charging the closest thug. I can't. I've already used my bonus action, so I can't rage at him, but I will smash him into pieces.
Okay.
Oh, that's 27.
27 hits.
Oops, hang on. For 14 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
Aha,
He was on
nice.
death's door, and he's like on fire, screaming.
And it's a 27 on the next one, too.
If it was a held action, you only get 1 attack. In fact, in theory, you can't also move, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. Then I can just throw I can just throw it if that's better. I like the caved chest cavity. I think that really works.
Nice. And it sort of opens him up. Like, basically, as the hammer comes back, you hear a sucking sound, like... and blood and guts spill over the ground as kind of his body opens up, and it's on fire either side, but the wetness of his entrails kind of smothers out some of the fire in front of him.
Cool.
He's dead.
So I am shouting, making myself look large and dangerous, and moving towards them. I mean, I don't know if I have any movement left or whatever, but
Just remember, there's another caca.
I know. Wait, I already waited one round. That's the best I can do.
I get it.
Oreo, it is your turn.
So I am going to
Hide behind the boar.
no, I'm going to use because no one's in combat with Torga, Torga, yeah. I'm going to use my bonus action insightful fighting, so I can hopefully do a sneak attack against her. So she has to
It's
roll
her
a
deception, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And that's going to be against my perception, so that's 21 for
Oof.
perception.
All right. 14. So what you notice is that under her heavy clothing, she's got armor, but you can tell from the bulges exactly where the gap between her kind of like little cuirass and kind of her leggings would be. Sort of like a small gap where you can probably poke a blade through or fire a bolt into.
Yeah, so I'm going to use Tabitha, the hand crossbow, and that's going to be 18.
18 does hit. Oh, actually... Well, Tabitha's is a crossbow?
I don't have it up.
Yeah, okay,
Tabitha
so...
is the hand crossbow, yeah.
Damn it, I can't parry that ranged weapon. Okay, sure.
So that's going to be... That's 8 points of normal damage.
Okay.
That's 14 points of sneak attack damage, and then 2 points from the hunter's mark.
Oof. The bolt flies deep, and all you see is the fletching coming out of the heavy clothing, and there's like a gasping noise from Torga, and a look of hatred in her eyes, and she's badly hurt. Okay.
I say this. I say this is for raping the inhabitants of East Haven, you bitch.
I meant with that exact cadence as well.
Yes.
All right, it's Durbik's turn again.
Okay, so I assume there's another hapless thug near me, yes?
Yes, there's two very close to you that you could probably, if you move here, you can get both of them. So if you kill one, you probably kill the other.
Good. Bonus action rage.
Okay.
Does a 17 hit?
1 second. I think so. 17 does hit. Thir 13 points of damage?
14 points.
14. You want to roll your other one? And I'll narrate both.
That is a 20.
Akeem, what you see, the others can't quite see because of the barrier and the fire, but Akeem, you see Durbik just kind of scream, a primal scream, and just lunge forward with his hammer and swings it high and like strikes one of them in the head, and basically like the head rips off and like hangs off one side. The neck is still together, it's an internal decapitation, and he just falls to the ground, and he leaps onto the chest of the other one, making him fall into the ground even though the guy is burning, and just slams the hammer down, head down, and crushes the head with a splatter of blood that looks like an explosion, like a melon that fell from a height. And you've
I am
killed two.
scared of Durbik. Very scared of Durbik at this point.
I believe that's your turn.
That is my turn.
Caliban, it is your turn.
I would like to bull rush the undead fellow. Bonus action, Legacy of Avernus to use Searing Smite. Not Searing Smite, a Branding Smite as I go.
Very well. You close the distance.
He doesn't vanish?
Not this time.
2 attacks with advantage.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one was a, whatchamacallit? 19 to hit?
1 second. you see him sort of quickly, as you go to hit him, sort of move one hand and kind of go like this, and like a weird barrier that looks like it's an ice barrier, a millimeter thick, but just kind of appears over him like a bubble, and your sword strikes against it and goes ting, and sparks fly off it, and you don't hit him.
I'll take another attack with advantage. Natural 20.
Nice.
All right.
And guess who is getting a second level Divine Smite into that? He's undead, right?
Yeah, and with this one, you arc your pick over, and you hit as hard as you can, and you see the barrier resist for a second, and then smash into sort of tiny little shards of ice that fly into the air and disperse. And your swing carries through and hits him straight onto the kind of sternum.
I'm going to need a minute, guys. Okay, so for the weapon damage, 14 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
For the searing smite, another 14 points of radiant damage. And he can't... No, branding smite is the radiant damage, which is what I was using. And he can't turn invisible whilst this is up. And he is undead, just to clarify, yes? So we established this. So, because it's undead, it adds an extra d8 to the damage die, so that's 4d8 as opposed to 3d8,
Right.
which then is doubled. 9, 12, 17, 36 points of additional radiant damage.
How much?
So 36 radiant damage plus another 14, so 40, 50 plus 64 points of damage in total.
Alright, how do you want to do this?
Was that it? Was that one
That is
shot?
the most defeated. How do you want to do this?
Poor Dre. I feel sorry for Dre.
And it was such a jaunty enemy as well.
Romeo?
So I just, I charge at him with the warpack and say, "Show me what you've got, dandy man!" And I slam into the shield, and there's a moment where you think the shield is held, and then it just, and I remove his head, turning it into soup in the process.
And as you do that, you see a weird, almost invisible, sort of different looking man sort of float up from the body, look at you in disdain, and then kind of do a little wry smile and vanish into nothingness.
Interesantes.
And he is gone. Akeem, it is your turn.
You know what's coming. This time, it's going to be a level 3 fireball aimed at those 3 little chaps just in front of Durbik there.
Just them three?
But just them 3, because I want to avoid hitting Durbik.
Okay. Roll your damage, and I will roll. I don't think there's any way I can actually survive this, but let's see.
Hell no, sucker!
How much damage? Yeah, no.
Oh, you got lucky. 24.
Yeah, but they're gone, because even if they save, that's more than hit points than they had. But you blow apart the house,
Sounds about right.
and they're just kind of... When you sort of regain vision from the ball of fire and flame, you actually can't see where they are. You just see kind of like a shadow on the wall where they might have been. There's no scorch mark basically where they are.
There's still 2 more slots, folks.
I feel like the boar is going, "Why am I even here?"
That's right. Yeah. He keeps getting ready to charge people and they keep getting killed. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, damn it.
Torga's turn. She's gonna look around. Everything's on fire.
This went south for her real quick.
She will go down on her knees towards you, Caliban, closing the distance, and just kind of grab your like free hand, actually not, yeah, the hand that's wielding the pick, and just kind of holding it, just kind of beg for her life. Please, sir, I surrender. Do not, you wouldn't harm an unarmed woman. And like she's like thrown away her blade.
Oh, she obviously doesn't know Caliban very well.
I was gonna say.
You're technically still in initiative. And it's Oreo's turn. You've heard this. You've seen this. So you're either out of, depending on what you do, you're either out of combat or, you know, you guys can take shots at Torga and finish her off.
I say, I shout out, I think we should try her in front of the villagers to show our justice.
Agreed. And for the record, I wouldn't kill an unarmed person, and I'd punch her in the face.
Roll to hit. Unarmed strike.
Natural 20!
Roll your damage.
There's no damage, it's just 1 plus my strength modifier. It's not technically a dice, is it doubled?
Yeah, it's doubled.
So 10 points of bludgeon damage.
10 points of bludgeon damage.
Big meaty metal fist.
Yeah, you sort of forgot that you've got a full-on gauntlet, and you like sock her in the face, and you hear this crunching noise.
Oh no, did I kill her?
And as you pull back, like, there's basically no teeth left. It looks like splinters. And her nose is caved in. It's like, she's bleeding really heavily from the face.
I take out my manacles and I cuff her hands behind her back. First time I've actually used those.
Hold on, let me reset back to the other camera then.
DM question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw up detect magic, and I would like to search everything. Is that sword that gentleman was carrying anything interesting?
That sword is made of pure ice. You look at it, it seems familiar, and it is definitely magical.
Didn't we have a plot thread about murders that were being done by
Ice dagger
made of
guys.
ice?
The ice.
That motherfucker. I grab her by the throat and basically hold her up so her little legs are kicking. You don't die yet. I have questions for you. And I will first like to remove anything she might like to use to escape. I will basically leave her in her underoos, metaphorically speaking.
Okay, so on her you find a strong box, basically in a satchel around her sort of belt. It's a heavy belt, like a utility belt almost. There's a flint, set of flint kind of to make a fire, sort of a eating/hunting knife, little things like that. And there's like a small, strong box made out of iron that is that looks like it accepts a large iron key.
We just saw a large iron key.
I'll try to unlock it with the iron key.
That's mine, that is. As you open it, you find 92 gold pieces, 76 silver pieces, 125 copper pieces, and 7 gemstones worth 10 gold pieces each.
I just turn to her and say, there is no word in Elvish, Dwarvish, or the tongues of the devils that can convey how little I care about what's yours.
And she sort of spits, and out of her mouth comes blood and what you gather used to be some teeth.
So
right,
how many?
Come on.
Are there others occupying the houses here?
So in the kind of 30 seconds that this is happening, you see coming from afar another maybe 20, 30 armed people sort of running down the street to see what happened. They sort of coming from all directions, but they converge into the main street. and they're maybe 180 feet away, sort of running in your direction and seeing the fire.
Oreo, I think this is our new town militia.
Oh, if they swear fealty to us, otherwise I'm letting Akeem fireball the lot of them.
Durbek, you mind
Happy
holding
to
this
any
one?
time.
You mind holding this one? I've got something I need to grab.
Holding what? Sorry.
Her.
Order.
Her. Okay.
Restraining her. On top of the cuffs. I would like to collect the head of the undead man.
Ew.
Okay. Sure.
As the guards are running, I leap onto whatever area I can go and say, "Former guards of Torga."
They sort of stop and halt, and they're looking around and seeing like the destruction. Roll
I'm
a
holding
perception
up
check.
the head as he's talking.
Oreo, if you can roll a perception check for me.
Oh, 19.
Around the back, you see a familiar figure. Like it's behind a few of the others, so you can't quite make it. But you seem to something that reminds you of some. Like you've seen someone before. But so they stop and they're listening to you.
Would I recognize?
Where's Torga? What's happened?
Torga is now in our custody.
And they all kind of draw their weapons and kind of.
Look around you and see what has happened to people who stood in our way.
Roll an intimidation check.
Does he have an advantage because I'm holding the severed head of the
Yes, and I'm looking.
Oh no, wait, it was soup. I guess never mind.
I'm looking threatening with Torga to back up his point, so he should roll with advantage.
Okay. Very well.
19 with advantage, thank you.
Okay. They certainly look frightened. They saw that they heard an explosion. They saw fire. And their boss is in chains, so they seem to, at least for the time being, not be attacking. Their sword lowers slightly, but they're looking at you. They don't know what to do. They're looking very uncomfortable, like they're trying to make a decision.
You have two choices. You can either flee East Haven with your lives now, or drop your weapons and be part of the city again.
And from the back, the figure that you thought might look familiar kind of steps out, and you recognize Scython, the owner of the East Haven ferry, and ex-criminal. Says, guys, and without Torga here to punish us into submission, I think this is a pretty good deal. I've heard what these guys can do. You'd better off. And a few of them don't look so certain, and they put their swords away, and about 5 of them turn their backs to you and sort of dash off somewhere. But the rest kind of just throw their weapons down and sort of look at you and go, well then, what do we call you?
Oh, well, I am Oreo Nostro. This is my friend Durbik. This is my friend Caliban. This is my friend Lord Akeem of Zamunda. And we are Tier 4. And we are now trying to rebuild East Haven.
Doesn't quite look like it, does it? I'm like pointing at the half demolished building that Akeem blasted to smithereens.
Just clearing out the vermin first.
Like what he said.
Well, all right. What do you want? What do you want us to do?
You're young and fit. You're going to help us rebuild.
And you're going to help keep the people who cannot protect themselves safe.
It's not enough food. Can't
Yes,
save all
there
of
is.
them.
There is plenty of food.
We've solved the food problem.
Can't protect that many
up
people.
some-
What are you gonna do about the wolves and the orcs? And there's some
What
strange
did we
things
do
that
about
happen
the
at
dragon?
night.
We're going to get
We'll
to
do
work
this-
is what we're going to do.
I can
Well.
fireball the lot of them.
And I go up to Siphon and go, Siphon,
Yes. Hi, Oreo. Good to see you.
were you working with these people?
Well, in the manner of speaking, it was either work with these people or my life and all my life's earnings. And I thought I could, at the very least, turn a blind eye here or there and, not hurt people too much and keep my skin somewhat intact.
Not the worst justification I've ever heard.
No, but Scython, now, you're going to help us even more.
Oh, fantastic. Much better bosses, I imagine, than what I had to deal with in the last couple of days.
Well, I'm not sure about Caliban's temper, if you do anything wrong, or Durbek's. Or
And I
Rakib's,
start
for
to
that
play with a little bit of fire in my hand, just
Or
Just,
Akeem for that.
make him really uncomfortable a little bit.
That freaks out. That freaks out most of the soldiers. Roll an intimidation check just to see how much you scare them with that.
Oh, I think I'll do very well with this. Oh yeah, 21.
Yeah, they're putting their hands up. They're like, they think you're gonna hurt them, and they're afraid of magic.
I'm just like throwing a fireball from one hand to the other and then making it like roll.
All right, Akeem.
I'm just practicing, so.
I'll turn to them and I say, listen.
Yeah, Master Caliban, they're not wrong about the food. They've got the only storage left, and it's barely enough for, a few dozen people for maybe a week or two.
I can't get into specifics, but understand that there is plenty of food. We have a magical solution.
Okay, very well. However, these barricades are here for a reason. We're gonna struggle to defend the town against wild incursions without the town guard, which have mostly perished, as you know.
The priority is taking stock of what we have and what is feasible for us. This may mean making the town smaller for a time as we set up additional fortifications further in. But we don't know we can't know what the plan is until we know what we can do. And that means assembling and assessing.
All right, very well. However I can help you, I will.
How many of the buildings in this part of town could we put townspeople in who are homeless at this point?
So let's do a quick math. So if it's 10% of the town is still kind of okay. It's a town of, I think it's about 1,000 people. East Haven.
That's 100.
Sorry, it's 750 people. So you can, and there are slight damage. This part of town, you could probably, if you squeeze them real tight in the buildings that are still up, you'll be able to fit probably all of them, but it's going to be really tight and unsanitary. Yeah. The houses would normally fit probably about 50 people, the ones that are still standing fully.
We can turn the town hall into a makeshift sit-in.
Good.
Yeah. And also the ferry house.
We want to condense everyone as much as possible because then we can protect them all.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to ask Scython, is this part of town barricaded all the way around to protect from nighttime activities?
Yes, we had incursions from Durgar and some very strange things. I don't know what those were.
Right. So let's get everyone in this part of town. Get the worst off ones inside buildings. Set up some camps for the others that will have to be out of doors for a bit. And provide some security here rebuild this part of the wall.
Very well. Give me half an hour. I need to speak to the remainder of Torga's posse.
Whatever you need.
There'll be another maybe dozen guards on the other side.
You need anyone else to come with you? Oh, I'm sorry, Caliban.
No, go ahead.
And he looks around at the ones that are frightened. You guys are not going to be stupid, are you?
I use thaumaturgy to make my eyes emit smoke.
So he's going to roll a persuasion check with advantage. Yeah, they seem to kind of nod their heads. Okay, well, let's make sure that all of our other friends know that Tier 4 is now in charge of East Haven. Are we agreed? And they sort of shake their heads. All right, come on, pick up your weapons, you sorry lot. Let's go. And they grab their things, and as they kind of walk away, you see at least one of them kind of pull at the back of his trousers, and there seems to be something heavy in the back of it.
Yeah.
I point to Torva and I say, not talking to her, but talking about her to the others. I have some questions for this one that can't wait. Can we set her up in one of the cells?
Yes, I think we should try her for her crimes properly and publicly.
First, I'd like to ask her a few things, though.
Oh, you go right ahead.
But it's nighttime now, Dre, right?
What time was it?
Well,
Oh,
no,
damn,
it's
I don't
morning
have-
When we
No, it'll be. I mean, between all the activities you've had so far, it'll be sort of close to lunchtime.
Okay, good.
Uh,
All right.
But it was morning when you first kind of started to
Right.
explore, I think.
Perfect.
You guys set her up in the cell. I need to find Nora for something real quick.
I'll take her.
Right.
Can I find Nora?
Well, if you go back to the town hall, and let me just check one thing. So that's.
Can somebody organize rebuilding this barricade here? We should probably get that done soon.
I think
So
we're
that's-
able to feed. I always forget how much it is. So it's 30 gallons. And. Four people per gallon. So that's 4 times 30. 120. Yeah, you fed everyone. They're fine. Okay, so basically the crowd's dispersed. There's a few people still there talking to Atka and her little posse of kobolds, but a lot of them seem to have sort of disappeared back to wherever they were hiding. Caliban, as you go into the town hall and sort of go upstairs shouting for Nora, she comes out of one of the rooms and saying, Mr. Salazar is resting. I patched him up, and he'll need time to recover, but the wounds seem to be mostly healed.
Do you have a zone of truth left in you today? I do it myself, but I burned my last 2nd level spell slot destroying an undead.
I'm not sure I have that prepared, actually, for her. Nope. She was in combat mode. I'm afraid not. I'm so
Never
sorry.
mind.
I could have it ready tomorrow.
Well, I'll have it ready tomorrow then. That's no trouble. Thank you anyway. You should, just to catch you up, and I'll tell her what we all just did.
Okay. Oh, well, it is wonderful you brought the town under control again. It would be terrifying to leave these people in the hand of bandits. Are you sure we can trust them?
I think Akeem saw to it that they'll behave.
She kind of sniggers a little bit. Very well. Still getting
Do you
used
know-
to
Do you know
guys'
where Velen
methods.
is by any chance? Oh, sorry. Do you know where Velen is by any chance?
Oh, she's taken up residence in one of the other rooms, the ones you guys were not using.
Thank you.
Just down
I'm
the
gonna
corridor.
I'm gonna go ask her what the scimitar does.
Oh no, sorry. If you picked it up, by the way, I didn't hear you say you picked it up. It would have
Oh.
vanished and turned into ice shards and kind of exploded into nothingness.
Motherfucker. Oh, well, actually, then I'm still gonna go to Velen if actually, you know what? This can wait. I'll do it another time.
Okay. So
So we deposit Tora in a cell.
very well. Down in the dungeon. You guys are all there.
I'll go down and let them know I don't actually have Zone of Truth. I can't cast Zone of Truth today, so this will have to wait till tomorrow.
Durbik pats on the black hammer and says, "I've got a zone of truth right here."
I'd rather just cut to the chase. We'll give her a clear
Alright.
choice. Submit to
Very
the
good.
spell or die.
Very good.
I'll tell you what you want to know if you just let me go, fellas. I will bugger off and you'll never see me again. Except it kind of sounds like this because of the damage to your face.
No, is the simple answer to that. We have to do what we have to do. You are a despicable human being for taking advantage of the poor people of East Haven. And the poor people of East Haven need to see that justice is being done.
And at this, she just sort of looks away in disdain and just sits in her cell.
So, what are we going to do now, guys?
I could use it.
So I think. Yeah, we have to get the barricade re-established. We have to get the bandits kind of formed up into guard duty of some kind.
Yeah.
We have to get the civilians inside that part of town.
I'm picturing a Magnificent Seven style montage.
Exactly.
Dun, 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 dun.
I will. I don't know anything about construction. I will use my military background, quote unquote, heavy asterisk, to try and organize watches and like platoons and ranks and stuff to get some sort of order to the security with the militias that are available.
Okay. I'm going to say that you guys have access to, I'm going to say, 24 thugs.
And I'm
various
walking around
kinds.
just making sure that they they adhere to some of the instructions that they've been given.
But they let you know that they don't feel safe in this part of town. They want to go back to the walled area.
Yeah, we want to get the wall fixed, and we want to get everyone in there.
Mm-hmm.
I say to the kobolds, I say, let's get everyone back and tell everyone that we're going to move everyone into the safe part of East Haven.
Okay, will do.
And they sort of traps around trying to look for them.
Is who's with me? Are we?
I'll be with you.
We're all with you, Arya.
Yeah. Okay,
I thought we were all together.
So I turn to Utka, and I go,
Atka.
Utka,
Atka.
Atka. I go to Utka. So would you like to sort of establish some roots here? Utka?
Well, it's not like I can go anywhere else at the moment, but what exactly are you asking? She sort of suddenly realizes that the question is a preamble. She looks at you suspiciously. What is the real question there, my friend?
Well, we have to, shall we say, go around and make sure that things get sorted around East Haven, deal with some Duragar, deal with some weird creatures, sort of run around a lot. And you look like a capable young lady, and we would like you to make sure that the guards keep in line. Perhaps maybe as our captain of the guard?
Sort of looks at like a few of the thugs they're helping kind of clear up and do stuff now that they've arrived.
I'll personally buy you all the dwarven ale you can drink.
I've had worse crews, and you did rescue me. Roll a persuasion check, Oreo.
Oh, God.
Did you hear what I said?
She did, and she smiled.
Oh, 16. Not my best.
Okay. Look, I'll do what I can here, but there's gonna need to be supplies. Food is not the only thing we need.
One step at a time.
We're out of fuel for keeping people warm. And there's going to be incursions from the mountains of all sorts of things. Animals and much worse. So how long will you be gone?
No, we're not going anywhere just yet. But when we need to go out and do stuff at the moment, whilst we sort out East Haven, we might have to go to Goodmead and make sure Goodmead is okay, because Lord Akeem of Zamunda needs to check on his people.
Very well. This was sort of the last place that hadn't kicked me out, so if you guys could make sure that the other townspeakers, put in a kindly word if they were to come looking where you guys are not here, because...
Don't worry, when Salazar's fully fit, we'll get him to... He will vouch for your good behavior.
Very well. Thank you very much. Okay.
So
I will certainly try.
Good. Phew. I wait my... Right, one weight off the shoulders.
And immediately she turns around, like giving her back to you, and like starts giving orders, like to the dudes. And this is someone that was definitely at a certain level of charge on a large ship. She's coordinating action between like 5 or 6 people, telling them what to do, interrupting when they do it wrong, and sort of, and then she kind of walks out of the door with them whilst talking. Sort of, it's someone who's very experienced at giving orders.
I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I could lie down.
Well, I think we have to. Let me make some plans for. We have to make supply runs and organize guard duties and so on and so forth. I shall stay up for a little bit and write some planning documents.
Remind me how far it is to Goodmead, Dre.
Goodmead is from East Haven.
It is
like 2 hours, 4 hours, but you have the sleds, so it's half
8
whatever time it says.
It's 8 hours walking, so 4 hours sleds.
On dog sleds.
So I'm just concerned that we get there, but do we want to rest first?
I would like to rest first, yes.
It'd be nice to. Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be nice to be able to throw a few more fireballs at 4th level, if we need to.
If we have time, I would actually like to seek out Velen, just to ask.
Well, we need to tell her what's going on as well.
Of course.
Yep. Very good.
Caliban, after you.
So are you having a short rest or a long rest, or are you going to see Velen? What is happening?
I'm gonna go see Velen first, but I wouldn't like to stay up too much longer. I would like a long rest sooner rather than later.
Okay. So you go upstairs and knock on the door that Nora pointed out to you and says, come in, very well. You open the door and you see that the kobolds have brought some of the stuff that was undamaged from her house. You recognize some of the sort of bits and pieces of her living room that have survived. Some of them, like her teapot is like severely cracked, but it seems to kind of be holding. And says, Mr. Caliban, what can I do for you?
I'll start by catching her up on everything that we've been doing.
Good. We would not want to make our base of operations here with thugs around. Yes, please.
One of the thugs was a semi-nude undead who was able to construct weapons out of solid ice.
Oh. How peculiar. She seems very interested. Well,
he was also able to teleport, and when I slew him, I saw his spirit leaving his body.
Sounds like he was possessed, perhaps.
Possibly.
That kind of undead energy, I'm loath to say, but it would fit the god we are in the process of thwarting, perhaps. But a guess, Mr. Caliban.
I have a question.
Please.
You possess the ability to enchant items, same as Salazar, I presume, correct?
Well, as a wizard, I can most certainly try to imbue items with magical properties, yes?
Between the two of you, could it be done faster? Is that...
Well, it depends on the enchantment and whether or not we have the materials, the magical materials, and, know-how, depending on what you want to do.
I hold up my warpick. I don't think this is gonna cut the mustard anymore. I need a new sword. And probably not an ordinary one, if I'm to better protect these people alongside my companions.
Indeed. Well, I don't know if we have the necessary bits that we will need to give a sword magical properties. It would certainly take a while. We could try. If we might have a shopping list that would be hard to fulfill. But any specific properties you want to give this sword?
Well, I've decided I really hate physical obstructions, barriers, and that sort of thing. They've become a pain in my ass more than once since I've gotten here. anything that would be especially effective at sundering structures.
What are you trying to ask for? What's the magic item?
It's called Shatter Spike.
All right. How rare is it?
Uncommon.
Okay.
Any attack against structures or objects is an automatic critical.
Okay. We'll have to look at Xanatar's guide to everything for what the time to make that would be. But also there would be sort of magical ingredients that she would ask you for. So if we can take that offline whilst I have time to have a look at it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. I will need a little while to gather my things and do some research, but I am keen to continue our journey and find the things that we need to end this winter. It would be good to find where we can find a ship, as from what I can gather, where we need to go is beyond the sea of moving ice and into open waters.
There's something about a whale with a platform on its back.
I have not heard of this, but if you could investigate whether that is a possibility, or if there's any other options, perhaps.
Actually, there's a four-flipped beast that owes us a favor.
What?
Well, we have an associate now who has a strong nautical background, so we can check with Akka and see if she knows where we can find a ship.
Yeah. There is
Sorry, a couple more things. To make this journey, we will need fuel to keep warm and to cook and things like that. And probably supplies for the dogs and things like that, and equipment that was damaged during that dragon attack that I no longer have. Picks, mountain climbing. We need to resupply. If you could investigate, that would be wonderful.
Do you know anyone who's an expert on the flora and fauna of this region, so we know exactly what to hunt for some of those things?
Well, you know Oreo, Caliban. He's a ranger now.
Right.
Well, the people I knew, I think I saw their remains in the street, so I'm afraid I am not as useful as I could have been a few days ago, I'm afraid.
That's fair enough. We'll do what we can, and we'll get back to you as soon as we know what we can do.
Wonderful, thank you. And she goes back to scribbling in her spell book and making notes.
Cool. And I will, I'll go lay down. Actually, no, I would like to spend... You don't have to RP this. I'll spend the rest of the time using my remaining 2 first-level spell slots and to heal anyone who needs it, and I will just try to help out all the people in any way I can.
Okay. And the town hall's now become like a little base of operations. You found like the furniture in some of the offices and other things has been cleared, so you got extra people sleeping in here, including some of the thugs that are now kind of the guards. The kobolds are going back and forth fetching things. It's kind of like a little hotbed of like a post natural disaster kind of center. Little sort of cots in the main hall where people are sleeping and things like that. The cauldron's been put back downstairs into the dungeon with Akka coordinating and things like that. But yeah, so if you guys want to spend the rest of the day relaxing and sort of sleeping over a long rest, is that what's happening?
That's what I would like to do, but you guys do whatever you want in the interim. I am going to use the restroom.
I feel like Oreo's got a thing to say, so I'm going to default to Oreo before I say my thing.
All right.
I'm just saying that I basically start writing basically a town development plan, and sort of go right. I start structuring because of my sage background. I'm going to start structuring. I'm like writing spreadsheets. I'm doing foraging requests. I'm trying to structure everything. I'm talking about I'm building where everything needs to be built, and doing funeral pyres for the dead. Organizing, basically the disaster relief organization plan. during the rest of the day until I get too tired and fall asleep.
Oreo, what do you think about if both me and you stepped out of camera now and just left the DM by himself? And the other two we're like, bye. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of what Oreo's doing, but mainly I'm starting to also like step away a little bit at a time. Like I'm helping here and there, I'm doing a thing, and then I'm like slowly backing away to the point where I'm like, okay, they're not gonna miss me. I'm trying to get some rest.
All right. So you can all have a long rest if that's what's you're angling for. It's fine.
Long rest.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to add to the things that these guys were talking about is I think Durbik is going to try and get some idea of what kinds of incursions have been happening, if they're regular patterns, if there's specific things we should be getting ready for. He's going to be talking to people about that kind of topic. You know, wolves versus Dwergar versus whatever, and he's going to try and not get too twitchy if people start talking about Dwergar because he doesn't want to scare anyone.
That's fine. Roll a persuasion check for every hour that you spend doing this. And let me know what the result is. It will be kind of 2 or 3 p.m. when you start to kind of wind down and people are starting to do these things.
I guess I'll do about 3 hours, but I suck at persuasion, so 14... 12 and 3.
Okay. You find out a few things. So there's definitely been Dwergar during the attack and shortly after. Dwergar were sort of running around in the streets, killing people and trying to grab things of value, and then they sort of disappeared. And those attacks seem to have stopped for now. There was some stuff done by the thugs and thieves. And there was also the night that they had to kind of hunker down in their broken houses. They say that they heard foul voices on the wind, and that there was some shuffling outside of the buildings that just didn't sound natural, and they just stayed bunkered down, and they didn't go out, so they're not too sure what was out there.
All right. Then long rest it is.
All right. So the morning finds you in your rooms inside the town hall, and consciousness comes, and you wake up, and you hear sort of bustling noises downstairs, sort of people talking. But you know, there's 2 of you per room. There's I think 6 rooms or 4 rooms. No, 4 rooms. Yeah. So actually, you can have 1 room each at this point. Nora has to bunk somewhere, I guess.
I would have thought we'd be not sleeping in the town hall, but sleeping in
in
the protected part of the city. I would think everyone would be, by the time we got to nightfall, I would think everyone would be sort of hunkered down in that walled-in part of the town.
Okay. Well, so I think Velen's made her kind of base of operations in the town hall, and that's where the cauldron is. If you want to move that kind of some of it, if you let me know.
No, I think we're in the town hall, but we you know, we're having runners go back and forth. The town halls are sort of,
okay,
you know, if there's any incursions, then we can be sent for as shock troops.
Perfect. Okay, good.
Okay. Is anyone keeping watch, or are you leaving Atka and her thugs up to it as you have a long rest?
They're scared enough. Yeah, and she's badass, so...
But they're under instructions, if anything goes wrong, to send runners to find us to sort it out.
Okay. So let's go back to the morning then. As the morning finds you and you hear voices downstairs, what would you like to do?
Get dressed and head downstairs, because I've now got my I've got my teams of scrolls and paper of my disaster relief rebuild East Haven plan.
Very well. You find Atka in the main hall talking to some of her new town guards, and Salazar's also there, and they have a body lying down on the floor between their feet. They're sort of, it's like a little circle, and she's talking to them.
No! I run up to the body.
It's one of the thugs, and you see that it's kind of frozen. It looks like ice crystals are sort of coming out of its ears and kind of out of some of the orifices and things. And you just kind of catch the tail end of the conversation. I don't know what happened. We just found him like this in the morning. He was keeping guard on the eastern side.
How long was he alone for?
I don't know, an hour at most. There's a rotating guard between each post, and each post has a guard.
Understandable. If it had been like 10 seconds, I might have been worried, but, I mean, I'm worried, don't get me wrong, but... And now it was enough to kill a man. Nora. Is Nora here?
She would have come down with you for breakfast, I guess. Yes.
Can you talk to the dead?
Yes, I can.
Would be good to find out what happened to this one.
1 second though, because I need to check to see if you can talk to this guy. Sorry. Please bear with me. It's like, and she says, "Well, sorry, not well, wrong accent. Well, I need to, his mouth needs to be moving, and he's all encased in ice. Can we try to free him?"
Hakim, perhaps, what you used to save me from hypothermia?
Oh, that was my, what did I use? I think it was shock and grasp?
Prestidigitation.
That was it, prestidigitation.
Although, could you,
got rid
DM,
of-
would you allow using
Oh,
shock
no,
and
I
graph as a defibrillator in the, like, first 6 seconds after someone's died?
You can certainly try if it happens. We'll see what it could do. But Akeem, you put your hands across the ice and you start muttering your incantation, and you see sort of little waves of sort of energy emanating and kind of heating up a 5-cube sort of space where the body is.
Brace yourselves.
But the ice doesn't even drip. It doesn't even drip. It's still frozen, as if, like,
so
as if it's in a freezer.
With a fireball.
I will.
Too much?
Hold on, I got something. I will remove his shoe. Does anyone have a knife? Something small.
Yeah.
And a dagger.
I'll take the dagger, drag it across my horns to cast Legacy of Avernus Searing Smite, of infusing the dagger with Hellfire, and I will try to melt like the ice around the foot.
Doesn't melt.
Not even Hellfire.
Can we dispel this magic somehow?
I can't. Velen.
What if?
Is
what if
Velen
I-
here?
Velen's upstairs, as far as you know.
What if I try absorb elements?
Perhaps.
Because it's ice. I might be able to. So yeah, I'm gonna cast absorb elements on it. At first level. Damage of 5.
No. You go to absorbs the energy, but it doesn't seem to affect the frozen body. But what you get is a sort of a flash inside your mind of, you're not sure, it was there for a split second, but a large towering figure with the face of an owl and a hand reaching forward to try and grab you, and then it just vanishes.
There's something that was big, that it looked like an owl. I saw a glimpse of it when I tried to absorb the snow or the ice.
You know what? We may find answers in the basement if you catch my drift. I'll say to everyone, put this body somewhere. I have an interrogation to attend to.
Atka takes care of it, sends the guards to sort of put the body in, actually down with you in the dungeon in one of the spare cells to keep it like sort of aside for now in case there's something you can do at another time.
I will see to it that they make sure that that Tova sees the body at least. Like she at least
You'd have to open the jail cell she's in as you walk past it, like with the body.
Oh right, it's not a cage. I keep forgetting that it's a solid door, right?
Yeah, with I mean, her one has a little slit, like with the little bars, so you can see into it.
Okay. Never mind. I'll just go find Torva.
Torga. Okay.
Torga,
Do you
sorry.
go? So, okay, so I'll say you have the keys to the jail cells.
Yeah. I'll bring
do
her
you
a
all
plate
go
of-
down, or?
You guys are welcome to join me. I'll bring her a plate of food as well if I can.
Okay.
I'll go with Caliban.
I'm starting to sort out my plan, and I'm sort of huddling. Oreo's huddling with Salazar and Utka, and he sends one of the kobolds to find Dawn.
Okay. So I'm gonna come back to you guys.
And Siphon.
Very good. I will go to Akeem and Caliban and Nora during the interrogation. And she goes, you're back.
Good
And
morning.
what do you want? What do you want today?
You hungry?
It's gonna be difficult to eat, thanks to you.
Open up. Trust me.
She opens up her mouth.
10 points of lay on hands. Exactly the amount I punched her in the face for.
Okay. Does lay on hands reconstruct your teeth?
That's a call for the DM.
I will say that most of her teeth sort of grow back. There's a couple missing and cracked ones, but it seems fine.
There's more where that came from.
All right, well, what can I do for you today?
I would like to put you under the influence of magic that would inhibit you from speaking any falsehood.
And what would I get in return?
I promise that at your trial, I will speak of your cooperation, and that I truly believe it is a sign that you may be redeemable after all.
How very
Whilst I-
kind. I'm afraid that the people here might not care very much.
I just killed a dragon for them, and I also stopped you for them. They'll listen to what I have to say, and if not me, they'll listen to what this one has to say. I point to Akeem.
Roll a persuasion check.
Both of us or just him?
Well, just him, unless you say something in to help.
I'll be like, I'll make a sound.
All right, then you can both roll.
16.
Dirty 20.
Okay. She looks at both of your faces. All right. Cast your spell. I wasn't gonna lie anyway. But sure.
I'm sure you understand, in our line of work, it doesn't pay to trust at a glance.
And Nora comes forward and says, when I cast this, if you resist it, I will know. So I suggest you just go with it. And she begrudgingly.
I was mid semantic components. I was like, oh, did you want to? Okay. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. I thought you want. She prepared it. No, you want to cast it?
Well, no, I'll say to her, I can cast it or you can cast it. I don't mind.
Save your spells. I will. There's less I can do with my powers. You might be needed to fend off some of the dangerous things out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And she takes away her little prayer beads and kind of seems to move along the chain of prayer beads to one specific one, and she kind of holds it and mutters a little prayer, and then suddenly, are you in the zone with her, or are you stepping outside of it?
I would step outside of the zone.
Okay, so it just affects Torga, yeah? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, Torga will not resist. Okay. Oh, that feels weird. All right. What can I do for you?
How attractive do you find me? No, I'm kidding. I say that to try as an obvious joke to try and hopefully set her at ease a little bit. Your clothing challenged bodyguard.
Ah, Sifik. Yes. What about him?
What was he?
I don't know what you mean.
He was
In what
undead.
sense? Oh. Suppose that makes sense. Well, all I know is that he is very skilled with his ice sword. It's a shame he didn't quite get to use it. You would have found. And he seemed to get up from even some pretty nasty attacks. He would just kind of dust himself off and pick himself up. And yeah, as if he hadn't been hit.
Was he the one behind the murders that left no weapon?
Ah, well, I suspect as much. I tried not to pry too far into it. But they do seem to happen wherever we go with our caravan. You see, we would travel from town to town. And whenever we made post in East Haven, Targos, or Brinchanda, in the morning there'd be a murder.
How did he come to work for you then, if you're so uninformed on his true nature?
Just sort of turned up, claimed that he'd been marooned from a ship and that he was blessed by the Frostmaiden, having been worn on Midwinter's Day. And she sort of thinks, oh, that's in a couple of days, isn't it? Well.
Shit.
Yeah, he seemed to claim that being born on such a day gave him a blessing, and he was resistant to cold. That's what he said. I didn't ask too many questions. He needed a work, needed job, and he proved to be very useful.
Very well.
Is that it?
I had more, but you clearly seem to be out of the loop of a lot, so
I can only tell you what I was up to. I just turned a blind eye to what he was doing, because he was very useful to my organization. Well, you know, a little bit of racketeering, a little bit of protection money here and there. That sort of thing. You know, this is the sort of place where you can make a fair bit of coin by having access to very much needed supplies and selling them for twice the price.
Oh, how many I've met like you. Did he
Anything else? I mean, I guess I also have a dead body from a bounty that I was hoping to collect, but this is looking very unlikely at this point.
Did he ever go anywhere by himself?
Well, yes, that's, you know, when he would conduct his business and...
Did he have quarters, anything we could search, anywhere he asked to be private?
He would usually just fall asleep in an empty barn or stable or something like that, because the cold didn't bother him. He'd just kind of get drunk and fall asleep. In the morning, he'd come back.
Did you ever see anything strange around? Apparitions? Phantoms?
No, his eyes were a little bit freaky. I won't lie. That blue is not natural, for sure. But other than that, he's a strange fellow that had some weird powers, but that's not, in my line of business, you don't ask questions. And, you just use people for what they're good for.
Guys, anything?
I'm not actually down there, but I have some questions or thoughts when you come back up out of the dungeon.
She seems weird to me.
What's something I would want to know? that you know.
Can I cast Detect Thoughts?
Do you have that as a spell?
Oh yeah.
All right. Do you just access her surface thoughts, or do you try to probe deeply?
I try to probe deeply if I can, because there's something weird. I'm just getting
All
the
right,
vibe.
so I'll have to try and resist it. What is it? Is it a wisdom saving throw? Is it a...
It is a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so let's have a look.
Hopefully it doesn't backfire.
What's her wisdom? 0. Okay. She fails it. So you go into her mind and you see.
Yeah. What do I see?
You see, like a rather sort of, terrible life, really, living in the West and sort of coming up, as a young person, sort of falling in with the wrong crowd and just becoming, learning how to deceive and how to get ahead by, murdering those sort of ahead of you. And you kind of see a caravan with 4 other dwarves and this mariner, this strange guy that didn't wear warm clothes, traveling from town to town, selling wares at very expensive prices whilst also shaking down businesses. You see a body in one of the sleds containing the frozen corpse of a half-elf in his 30s. And you see her follow the mariner one night just to see what he was up to.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of stab. You see her looking, and you see him stabbing someone with his ice sword and leaving. Actually, no, that's it. And that's it. That's kind of what you find.
So I lean into Caliban and say, "There's something up with her. She has seen the murderer. She has seen the person with the ice sword."
Thank you, Akeem. You neglected to share that bit of information.
And she looks annoyed. Well, it wasn't really much more, and it didn't seem like it would help me to tell you that. And it doesn't really give you any more information. I was hoping to lie by omission there. Yes, I saw him, so most likely he is the man you're looking for.
Where would we find him?
Well, you killed him.
I mean,
I have doubts about that.
Mm.
As far as I know, and your spell is up, so he was just a man. That's what I knew. I mean,
10
knew
minutes
he
already
probably...
gone by?
No, she's not lying.
No, you said your spell's up.
Your spell's up, as in it's up.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not lying.
Sorry.
Okay.
I thought you meant as in spells up.
Spells up. No. She's saying, look, I knew he was probably something else, or had strange powers, or was a wizard. I have no idea, but I didn't know exactly, and I didn't ask further questions. And as far as he told me, he was just a man that got shipwrecked, and the only survivor of his crew because of his resistance to cold. That's what he told me, and it's probably a lie, but I didn't ask further.
I don't think that... this is just purely between me and Caliban, so I lean into his ear just to say, I don't think there's anything else we can get out of her. This is just waste of time.
I agree.
A little bit too intense. You'd what?
Sorry.
I put dramatic music on, it seems a bit too much.
I stand up. I turn to one of the thugs and say, "Did this town ever have a master of law?"
All matters are... sorry, wrong. Accent switch.
All matters are referred to the town speaker usually, and town guard and captain. The captain can sometimes make a judgment call on that kind of thing.
I turn to the others. I know
It's only me and you here, isn't it?
I turn to Akeem and say, Akeem, I know that I've passed out a harsher sentence once or twice that has made you take pause. That's not my intention here. But as a follower of a god of law, it was important to me to see that justice is done.
I look at Caliban dead in the eye and be like, I have seen you do many things. I am not about to question your loyalty and your honor. Do as you wish. Do as you see fit.
I turn to her. The body you were hoping to collect a reward on. Tell me about that.
Okay, 1 second. He came to Icewind Dale to disappear. He thought he was safe here, but I have informers on the side of the Sword Coast, so I know every bounty this side of town, and he fit the description. His name was... Where's my names? Alright. His name was Arn. And he had a bounty for, just some minor criminality in the town of Luskan, I think. It was, and some stuff down in Neverwinter. And he was hiding out here, and I recognized him. I recognized him from the description.
Very well.
But with the Frozen Pass being shut, I couldn't get my reward. We couldn't get the body back to Luskan to collect.
Very well. I sit down again, and I hold out my talisman. Do you know what this symbol represents?
One of the gods? I can't recognize that one. I was always bad in religion. No, sorry.
This is Asurun, god of law and punishment.
Oh, not one I want to piss off then.
As a follower of his and as a newly appointed co-equal leader of this town, along with my comrades, it would stand to me to divine your sentence.
Oh, and she goes, well, how are you going to put in a good word for me with yourself?
It's actually the
that
easiest
doesn't
person.
seem right.
That's actually the easiest person I can put a good word with.
Kind of feel like, you've made your mind up of what a sentence would be as opposed to... this feels a bit weird.
Perhaps I used a poor choice of words, and for that I apologize, sincerely. I just drop any weapon I had, or I just let my war pick clutter to the ground. I don't want to hurt you, Torga. I don't want your whole life to end. I think it'd be a waste. I just gesture to my face. I don't know what it's like to be dealt a shit hand. And
I
then
can only
keep
imagine.
throwing shit. So, without condoning or condemning, I understand the choices you've made. And to be clear,
most kind?
but I can't condone them. So I'm offering you a chance. I'm offering you a sentence of life. Live anew. Live among these people. Help them. Work with them. You're smart. You can do good. You can still live a fulfilling, happy life. Perhaps without the thrill of the swindle. I'm asking you. I'm begging you.
Roll.
Oh, just because I had a pause that admittedly dragged too long. Can I confess something with you?
All right then.
I hate what I do on some level. I hate killing. Because every death at my hands to me is a failure. A failure of peace and redemption to win out. I chose the path of vengeance because I understand and I know that there are those who must do what must be done when someone is beyond redemption. But it doesn't make it any easier to carry that out on those who have met out that fate. And that's not who I believe you are. It's up to you to prove me right or wrong.
That is a most kind offer that I feel would be unwise not to take. Roll a persuasion check.
$26. Natural 19.
Okay. Well, I will certainly give it a go.
I will loosen her shackles.
All
We'll
right.
remove them. How hurt are you?
Bit hurt here and there, but and actually she's like down to less than a quarter of her hurt points after you healed her.
I'm gonna give her the other 25 hit points of lay on hands.
Okay. That gets her to a decent level.
That's all I have for today, I'm afraid, but that should be enough to undo anything permanent.
All right. You're gonna have some difficulties keeping your men under your control if they seem I'm out and about and walking.
I trust you'll let them know the order of things.
Very well. She gets up and walks past you and heads upstairs.
Start with tabulating a very large list of vulnerabilities, supplies we need, any kind of itinerary that might be useful.
Very well. Okay. Durbik and Arya, you've been sort of sitting for a while.
Well, we've been planning.
Yeah. Okay. So, was there anything you wanted to run?
No, I just want to. I say to Durbik, I hopefully I'm gathering Siphonooka and Dawn and Salazar, and I go to Durbik. I'm thinking of forming a town council. So when we're not here, there's a town council in situ, so they can make decisions without us.
Yes, that seems like a good idea. I don't really fancy being tied down here all the time for every single decision.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think, having Siphon the Neferilus, Utka the Brave, Dawn the sort of wise old head, and Salazar, who's a pillar of community, we might have a good body there.
This is a pretty good makeup, I think.
This is a very good plan, Mr. Oreo. I was going to suggest, now that I feel a little bit better, that I send a message to the townspeakers of Bryn Shander.
I think that's a very good idea. I think that's a very good idea. Do you know if Goodmead still stands, Salazar?
I'm afraid I do not. When the dragon attacked, you found me, and that's...
Well, we shall have to go
That's all
today
I know.
and check on that, I think.
Trey, if we see Torga come through the town hall, Durbik is going to assume that she's slain his party and escaped. Because
I would have gone with her.
So you guys would sort of emerge from the dungeon and see Oreo and Durbik sort of at a large sort of trestle table that's in the middle of the town hall, speaking with Salazar and with people there. Dorn is there as well. They're kind of organizing stuff, and they kind of see you come up with Torga.
What is she doing here? And Oreo grabs his crossbow and is about to fire.
I step in front of the crossbow bolt. Torga's decided to turn over a new leaf. She's going to put her smarts towards helping these people instead of exploiting them.
You trust her? We need to prove to the people that she's not... What are you doing, Caliban?
She agreed to, under the influence of magic that would inhibit her from lying. I do trust her word.
She's sort of poking her head out, like with her hands up from the side of Caliban's armor. Sort of didn't have a choice, did I? I offered to bugger off and never come back, but apparently that wasn't an option, so...
I don't trust that evil witch. She will find some way to...
So Caliban, does this mean your zone of truth failed and we fall back to mine?
My zone of truth succeeded. That's why I trust her.
But she only can lie. She can't lie now. She can lie in the future. She could build her reputation back up and do anything that she wanted.
I trust you to keep an eye on that Oreo. But are we no better than those we claim to vanquish if we never even entertain the opportunity to redemption?
But she hadn't been tried for her crimes. Where is your law now? You're judge, jury, and executioner amongst everyone? Is it your word that's here and not the word of these good people? The people that she turned against? The people that she held? You are 12 good men and true?
Once again, she pokes out like, I did ask him. He seemed to think he was the judge.
You're not helping yourself, Torga.
Well, sort of keep... And Caliban's probably shuffling uncomfortably, and she's trying to stay behind as much as possible.
Akeem, you agree with this behavior?
At this point, I've just learned to let Caliban do what Caliban wishes, but...
Akeem, come on, that's not...
I have no problem with this.
Jervik, what say you?
In the tribes, we wouldn't bother with a trial. Oro, you've convinced me the value of having one. I would think that a representative of law and order would want the evidence shared and a judgment rendered. But I must not understand the ways of the law. I personally would definitely not release her on her own devices.
I didn't say anything about releasing her on her own devices, but you're right in that a trial should be had. I just would implore anyone who might be, and I'm saying this to everyone, who might be sat at that trial, that it would be a shame and a waste to simply write her off.
Shit. Do I have to go back in my cell?
I turn to, well, perhaps, what do you say? Salazar, Dawn, you were here. This is what she did to you. What do you say, Dawn?
Dorn is, afraid, looks, the words die in his throat, he doesn't say anything. Salazar goes, I am somewhat aware of this figure's dealings. The law turned a blind eye most of the time, as it is hard to obtain supplies this part of the world, so even when they're overpriced. And it was always hard to get statements from those she intimidated. I do not know her well enough, but her crimes certainly deserve punishment. Definitely detention. I would not trust for her not to be tempted in her old ways. The loyalty of her men is not something we should toy with. But I defer to you.
Let me ask you this. If she were to be freed at some point in the future, do you think she could cause more harm? Or do you think she has the capacity to learn from her mistakes?
He sort of intertwines his fingers and goes like this, and then he grabs his little golden glasses and puts them on his nose and has a good look, peering through. Far from me to say that people are beyond redemption. And these towns were all founded at least 50% by people that had a sketchy past of some kind. She would definitely be a risk, but I will not presume to say that she would definitely not redeem herself.
Is Siphon in the room?
I mean, if you want him to be, I can say that he is.
Well, I did ask to get him,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, but okay, depending how long the conversation, if you go get him from how far he is. But okay, yeah, I can
Let's
say
say
that
it took
he's
a
in the
while,
room.
yeah.
And Siphon, what say you?
It would be hard to not have your new men think that their old boss is in charge.
I agree.
If we are bound for some moral reason to let her go, she needs to be banished.
I'm not suggesting we let her go, necessarily.
Well, then let's take her back down to her cell.
See,
I turn to Torga.
Sorry, Akeem, you're gonna say something?
Oh,
I
sorry,
was
yeah.
just gonna say, if you hadn't said that there's a possibility of redemption, I was gonna just burning hands flame her on the spot. Because I was like, we can keep talking, but like she sounds like she's gonna cause trouble. And you know what? Screw it. While I'm saying this, I've made up my mind. I'm gonna burning hands her at 3rd level.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Screw it.
Alright, well, she's hiding behind Caliban. You're next to him.
Yeah, so I move just to the side of Caliban so that because she's not afraid of me at this point. She's more afraid of
Yeah, she's
Oreo,
not paying
right?
attention. She's not paying attention
Yeah.
to you, so she
So
would
I've
not notice.
sidestepped, and I've burning hands her at 3rd level.
I will say she fails her saving throw. Deal your damage.
19. Sorry, folks.
How much more lay on hands did you give her, Caliban?
I gave her a total of 35.
So
Between-
and you did. Yeah,
Huh?
and you did 19 points of damage, Akeem.
Yep.
So she's not dead, but she's writhing in flames in agony. Everybody's like suddenly like surprised, like shit's going down kind of thing. But she's on fire, and she turns around. She doesn't have any weapon. What would she do? She would try to run out of the door.
My crossbow bolt's still up. I fire.
All right, roll to hit.
That's going to be a dirty 20.
Dervik looks really sad.
That hits.
Sneak attack or straight?
It's sneak attack.
So that's 6 normal damage and then 8, 9. 9 sneak attack. So that's 17 points of damage.
Okay. And as her screams from being on fire sort of start to sound like go from being a human voice to kind of being a gargle and kind of a rasping noise, your bolt hits her in the back of the head and she falls into a smoking heap on the floor. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
We needed some drama for this.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I was just tired of it. I was like, we're gonna keep umming and ahhing. We're gonna give someone a chance that potentially will screw us over in the future, and no,
You remember that scene in Apocalypse Now when they've shot up the boat and the one person is still alive and they're like, we have to take him to the hospital, and Martin Sheen.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Akeem has changed. He's less forgiving. I know Caliban's not gonna like this, but
Yeah,
Sorry, bro.
great conflict, great storytelling. Like, it should be interesting to see what happens.
oh yeah,
I'm just gonna have to think about the reaction of each of the NPCs. So Salazar, Scython's there, Dorn's there, Nora would have been there, the kobolds might have been there, and some of the town people might have been there. So like, I'm gonna have to think about that. It's quite a lot of like. Anyway,
motherfucker.
the thugs will definitely respect you.
I don't really care about their respect.
But thank you to our audience watching. Richie is watching.
Yay!
By the way,
Richie, what's up, Richie?
He had some comments when I wasn't looking, so he said hello. So thanks for watching, and thanks to everybody else watching as well. Tune in next week to see what happens as our adventurers probably have a discussion about what just happened, and then try to head to Good Meat to see what happened to their friend there. Thank you so much. Bye.